Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Final Four, also known as the President's Cup. My name is Joe, and I am joined by none other than Grandmaster Ilya Nizhnik from Webster. Uh, Ilya, you want to introduce yourself?
This event, so here I am,
I think I need to
following on a
add your
tradition.
audio real quick. So, my apologies.
No, no, good, no worries.
Actually, no, they hear you. Okay, great.
Maybe I should just speak up
No,
or
no,
just.
that's my issue. I'm just like looking at the audio, making sure it works. All right, anyways,
Uh-huh.
we have some games. The final four is the top four teams from Pan Am's, which happened a couple months ago, back in January, over in Seattle, which we covered on uh, the Chess Channel, which was pretty cool. And now we are covering it here. So we have Mizzou taking on UT Rio Grande Valley, and we have Webster taking on SLU. Is there any game in particular that you wanted to look at initially?
Well, most of the games are still in the early opening stages, and a couple of games are definitely, I would say, are going to be more exciting than the others. So, for example, uh, well, I'm at the event page, so I'm seeing games from, I guess left to right, up to bottom. So my first Grigoria Parin or Camilo Dragoon versus Grigoria Parin. Um, and yeah, in this game they're playing this very tricky opening line in Queen's Gambit accepted. So if you go back from the very beginning, actually, I just wanted to quickly show you. Yeah, here it starts off as a Nimzo, then transposes into Queen's Gambit. Right here, Black takes, which makes it a Queen's Gambit accepted, and White plays E4. So usually, yeah, B5 is one of the main responses. This one has been popular quite recently, and another very solid response to B5 would be to play Bishop B4. I'm not sure if you can move pieces. Yeah, over here, if to play Bishop B4 and go for Vienna Gambit. Yeah, Bishop to B4, Bishop to wait, if you can't move pieces. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Bishop B4, Bishop captures C4, Knight captures E4, Castle, Knight captures C3, B captures C3, and then now bishop to E7, so not taking the second pawn that because the bishop would never come back. So bishop to
Okay.
E7, yeah, and we have a pretty typical position for Vienna Gambit where black is up a pawn, but white is massively ahead in development. And if black needs to know a lot, but if black plays this correctly, I think black is going to be doing just fine. So this line is, I would say, this line would suit well for people who are fond of defending playstyles, especially because you are immediately, having an advantage to go along with having to defend your position. Um, you know, I would say probably Tigran Petrosyan, if he were alive at this point, would not mind playing a position like this. But it's just my speculation, obviously. There's no way to be absolutely sure about that. But this is another decent option, and b5 is more of a fighting option. So this one is yeah. So b5 is the option where black gives up their extra pawn back, right? So now after e5, white has to play e5 to make sure they don't lose the e4 pawn. Now knight d5 and knight takes b5, right? So here it seems this position seems pretty bad for black at first sight because first of all, black's pawn structure is really broken. So if you look at a7, c7, c4, those pawns are all separated, and black has double pawns on the c file. But what black also has is an outpost in d5. Right? Currently the knight is on d5. Unfortunately, it has to go back to b6 immediately to save that c4 pawn. But it doesn't remove the access to the d5 outpost for black. Yes, after knight b6, the pawn gets protected. Black is going to follow this through with bishop b7 and that long diagonal, right? So after bishop comes to b7, which did not, I guess, it's some opening specifics that I'm not aware of, right? Because bishop b7 looks like a very logical move to me, but black can always play bishop b7. There is nothing that can stop them from doing so. So they decide to throw in a couple of extra moves before they actually play bishop b7. So here knight c3, bishop b7, and basically in a few moves we arrive at the current position after move 12 rook d1. which I believe is still a theoretical position, which once again I'm not very aware of. I know this line exists, but I personally don't play it myself. I had the chance to play it a couple of times, and people believed me. It's funny because um, many times when I play, uh, especially in the opening phase, just people believe that I know more than I actually do. I'm not sure if it's if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it's a good thing in terms of playing and applying psychological pressure against your opponent, but it's not a good thing when it actually happens. It's gonna be tough to figure out, right? Some things you can figure out over the board if you're strong enough, and some things, especially in this day and age with how strong the computers have gotten, it's gonna be really tough to figure out certain lines over the board if you don't have any support. So if you don't help yourself at home and prepare a little bit in advance, it's going to be tough to figure out crazy lines where you have to sacrifice half of your set and then make a forest drawing or something like that. Not something you're going to be looking for.
So people
So
respect you, and they think that you know more than you know. Is that it?
uh,
That's definitely a good thing,
that's
right?
I mean, I guess I was once again it it
So
makes people double guess your.
this is the current position that we see here. I noticed that black could maybe ruin white's pawn structure as well. White just moved the rook, so they can't castle queenside. I'm expecting kingside castles, but obviously this bishop is a very valuable piece on the long diagonal. Is there any lines where they go ahead and capture and give up the bishop pair like that?
Probably, but I think a more typical playstyle here for black involves actually casting long and playing like rook g8, g5. That's at least that's the one I've seen been played the most, and just utilizing the b7 bishop to its full potential, like taking the knight away.
Okay. Um, I also noticed that this knight going to a5. Normally you say like knights on the rim are dim, or grim,
Yeah,
or whatever you
yeah,
say. But is the knight planning on going to b3 here?
yeah. That's actually there was how strong the engines are these days. You see this kind of stuff more and more often. Like you see the generic beliefs and generic rules, you may even say, being just crushed by engines who just make it work. They just make it work. It all is fine as long as you have a concrete idea in mind. That's basically how it is. So generic beliefs are no longer as effective as they used to be before, I would say. Yeah, this is no exception. The knight is, I mean, even if it does come to b3, like I still fail to recognize its usefulness. I guess it's going to be applying pressure against d4,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, I would say the knight on b3 doesn't really help black was much. Maybe it also is going to be helping black to play c5 and undouble pawns by trading the c7 pawn away. So I guess there are some practical implications for that knight, but still I personally wouldn't like moving my knight in with this exact route, like knight b8 c6 a5 b3. That just seems like not a waste of time, but there seem to be better places for the knight to go to, if that makes any sense, because you still want to have your pieces near the center.
Uh, Another thing you mentioned that the knight on b3 is putting pressure on d4, and maybe that's another reason why the rook comes to d1, also anticipating that the knight would attack the rook. But I'm also
Uh-huh.
wondering if white's trying to play for d5 at some point.
I wonder if that works. It's tough because white is if white plays d5 and it fails, black is going to capture back with an e-pawn, and black is going to have a massive central,
Yeah.
central attack, because all the pawns get connected, and then ed is going to be followed by c5, d4, and the pawns will just rush in. And so if white does eventually play d5, they better have something concrete in mind, because if they don't, it's probably going to be a disaster.
I'm getting asked if Benjamin Bach is playing, so
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
we should be able to check out his game. He's playing against Gladura from Webster.
two Benjamins. Two Benjamins
The Battle of the
facing off each
Benjamins.
other. Yeah, exactly. Oh
Uh,
yeah, so
you want to check out how this game started?
sure. Yeah, so this was rather. typical Grunfeld defense where White decided to go for quote unquote sideline. But this sideline, I remember my good friend Ray Robson playing the sideline as Black a couple of years ago during one of the Pan Ams, and he just had a magnificent win. I believe it was against Andrei Gorovets, who at that time was still an international master. But this game, this line can get crazy because as far as I remember, Black is not really planning to um maybe Black is planning. Maybe in this case, Black is planning to. Maybe not. Actually, once again, this is coming from a non. I'm not a big specialist in openings, but as far as I remember, the main line here is for White to take on d5. Right, so C captures d5 would be would be the way to go. And as far as I remember, Black is not even going to hurry to take any of the pawns. So Black is going to be down 2 pawns. And yet I think Black can just simply castle. And because Black is already so ahead in development, White trying to save their extra pawns is probably gonna be detrimental to the result of the game because they're probably just gonna lose. So they have to like let one or maybe even both of the pawns go in order to get their pieces in the game as quickly as possible. And yeah, it's gonna be a trade-off, right? So Black is giving up a bunch of material, trying to get strong dynamic play, and it all depends on how White is going to react to that. And once again, there's a lot of complications. There's a lot of engine lines in this variation, and I wouldn't go as far as to say that I know what is going to happen.
So you
I
mentioned that Ray played this line with Black,
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
and that was in Pan Am's.
that was in Pan Am. So I'm not sure which one, but it was definitely I think either 2018 or 2019 Pan Am.
So you and
Yeah.
Ray were teammates.
We were on the same team, I believe. So at that time, we still had 2 teams. It was Webster A and Webster B. Both teams for, I would say Webster A was a little bit stronger than Webster B, but I think at that time I was in Webster A team, and Ray was on board. Okay, I actually don't remember. I would like to say board 3, but I
That would be
don't
very
remember for
impressive.
sure.
I mean, what board were you?
I think I was mostly board 2, and
Okay.
then sometimes board 1. I think that was my positioning,
Were
as
you
it
ever
relates to the team
teammates with
composition.
any of the current Webster players?
Sorry. Oh yeah. Let me see. So Benjamin Gladura was there. He's one of the quote unquote veterans, I guess, of the team. And then we have, let me see, we have Aram. Aram was on the team as well. I'm not sure if I think we might have been on a different. I was in Webster A and he was in Webster B, but I'm not sure about that. But he was also there. And other than that, okay. So what happened?
Oh, your mic is cutting out. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hold on. He can't.
Okay, this is ridiculous. My headset is just doesn't wanna. Sorry.
We need some donors for AirPods or something.
I mean, no, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's just it went out of charge right before our call, and I have like a lot of wires on my table, and for some reason one of the USB ports I'm using to charge the headset is not. It's acting up. So it would be fine. Actually, let me.
Luckily,
No, it's fine. It's okay.
I'm just using the wired headset. This thing doesn't detach.
I could just use no headset at all. I think it's gonna be okay that way too. But yeah, once again, if we'll see. We'll see what happens. If my headset dies, I'll just take it off. Should be fine regardless. Yeah. So anyway, what did he like? Is it just me or Dragoon versus Aparen's game is now gone? Okay, for some reason on the events page, it's not.
They might have updated titles and images or something.
What happened to make it draw or something?
That's a great question.
Huh. Oh, they're adding stuff. I see it. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So it's
looks
just
like we
fixing, yeah, titles. Yeah,
we
okay.
did see Long Castle.
Long castle, yeah, fair. Once again, I'm expecting black to like almost always exclusively play bishop e7 and then g5, or bishop e7 or rook g8 and then g5 stuff. Um, and I don't quite remember how white is supposed to react to that. I guess white should just probably still castle, like bishop e2 castle, and then try to meet the g5, g4, maybe by simply removing the knight from long diagonal or some or stuff like that. So it's gonna be a pretty interesting game. We are still in the opening territory, so I'm surprised to see both players actually spending quite a bit of time here, especially Gregorio Parra. I think he's really trying to remember like the most optimal way to to position his pieces before the inevitable attack on the king side. I think that's probably why he's uh he's trailing a bit in terms of time. But Camille um is also taking a little bit of time, I guess, just trying to be careful because once again, this position it can become really sharp, and like if you make an inaccuracy or a mistake, it may cost you a lot in the long run. So
Uh,
definitely an interesting game. Uh-huh.
what's cool, I think, is this is Mizzou's first time in the Final Four. Do you know if that's true?
Um, I've I I I would love to say for sure, definitely, or definitively, but I don't think I can because I don't remember. I do not remember the time when they were in Final Four, so that tells us something. But once again, I could be wrong. Okay, so most.
Yeah, I know Mizzou's program's like relatively new, right? Did you ever compete against them in Pan Am's?
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean they've been out there for the past, I would say, 4, 5 years maybe. Yeah, they're relatively new.
Well,
Compared to other
compared to yeah,
teams.
compared
Yeah, for
to
sure.
Webster.
But they,
Um,
but immediately, like right off the bat, their team was it was it was not to be taken lightly. They had basically a team of mostly team of grandmasters. So it was always interesting fight when it was coming down to our match. Still, well, Harshit Raja's game against Irakli Biradze, Black is still thinking. So ever since we've seen Harshit's ninth move h4, Irakli has been thinking how to counter that. Maybe we could pull
um,
up the game for a second.
sorry, which game?
So Harshit Raja versus Irakli
Yeah, all
Biradze.
right, here we go. Sorry.
Yeah, so I would say until White's last move, I would say a pretty standard Catalan. But then this move h4 is when I think about it, kind of makes sense. But I don't think I've ever seen it being played this early. So the idea here is that um White likely wants to place their bishop on f4 when Black plays knight e4, right? So if Black goes knight e4 right now, is there any way we could put it on the board? Yeah,
E4.
knight e4, no, knight e4. Yeah, it's Black to move knight e4. So now White probably is going to respond with bishop f4, bishop f4.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, yeah, and because previously, if the bishop is going to f4 without White having the pawn on h4, Black actually can meet this with g5, and and this attack, although looking kind of dubious, actually is going to be pretty effective because thanks to a greatly centralized knight on e4, Black can just roll, can just go g5, f5, and then f4, and potentially even try to go for a checkmate. But in this case, the hg5 is no longer going to work, and Black will need to make g5 work. Black will need to like spend a bit of time playing h6. But then once again, it's not going to be the same because after h6, you're going to have a pawn trade with an h5 opening up. I would say actually that sounds like it might be more beneficial for Black, right? Because Black is likely going to be using the h5 to attack White. But that's what I assume the move h4 is about, kind of distantly getting prepared against the g5 ideas. Once again, Harshit knows better. He played this move relatively quickly. Oh, it seems like now it's his move. So what did Black respond with? Black responded with just castling. Okay. So, oh wait, no. Oh, it was a5. No, sorry. Black responded with a5 instead of knight e4, and then rook d1 happened relatively quickly. And then b6.
And
Okay,
b6.
so, so I guess we're gonna probably have like pretty standard Catalan plans and ideas right now. Like White is likely gonna try to play e4 at some point. The main issue with playing e4 is that White can't do it right away, because if White could just play knight c3 e4, that would have been great, but obviously knight c3 is gonna cost White a pawn on c4. Maybe that's what White is going for. Actually, now I start seeing additional benefits to playing h4, because like White sometimes sacrifices the pawn on c4 in order to get a strong center. Can we try knight c3 d takes c4 this line? Yeah, d takes c4 e4, and now I'm going to be using the move h4 in order to play e5 bishop g5 and trade off the black's dark squared bishop. I want to trade off black's dark squared bishop in order to get access to dark squares, in particular the d6 square, right? So immediately after I play e5, I'm going to be trying to navigate my knight over to d6, and as long as the black dark squared bishop is on e7, I can't really get the full value of the d6 square, if that makes any sense. So maybe that's where the h4 move comes in, because if black really wants to save or to keep the dark squared bishops on the board, black has to play h6 now. But you see, this is where playing h6 can also be somewhat scary, because that creates a hook on the king's side. And White is clearly kind of aiming towards black's king side, and I'm not sure black was going to be very happy about having to play h6. H6 under normal circumstances is a useful move, because it creates an escape square for the king, takes control over the g5 square. But in this case, where White is already showing so much aggression on the king side, and White can maybe follow it through with some g4, g5 stuff, I'm not sure if h6 is, there's always a drawback. Oh, look at that. Knight c3 was played, was it? No.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was played. There you go. Okay. So, I'm not sure what's going on with time, because oh yeah, I mean we are seeing the games in what, a 2-minute delay, I believe. But only just moments ago, I think Harshit had, a lot more time than his opponent, and now all of a sudden it's evened out. So I'm not sure what's going on with time there.
You could look at the timestamps. It looks like move 8, White spent 5 minutes, and then move 9, Black spent, it says 14 minutes. And then on move 11, this is another 10-minute think right here.
For White? Oh, that was all White thinking. Okay. Interesting. As I was looking at the game, it got removed. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing some maintenance, it seems.
All right. I see how it is. Not letting us enjoy the masterpieces in peace. Now we have 2 copies of the same game.
I don't see any of the games anymore.
Yeah, I see Raja's game versus Raz's game copied, mirrored, and then everything else is normal. But actually, it looks like they fixed every game. Now everyone has a title, everyone has a picture, so it all looks pretty and stuff. Actually, not everyone has pictures. I take it back. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, well, how do you get a picture on chess.com?
I don't know. They should. I mean, if you use chess.com, at least like they should have your info, so they can just pull up your picture from your profile or something. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Grigory Oparin has an account, and he plays quite frequently, so they probably just connect his account to this live game, and boom. And everyone else, I guess they don't. I'm not sure how that works.
I want to know if Ilya Nizhnik has his picture.
I mean, I think I do. I think I do. You can
That's
maybe
I have
you
to
can maybe
pull.
look me up on some previous events
Someone in
and you'll
chat
find me.
confirm it. Um, all right, so
Google my picture on feed. Go ahead and look
let's
at my
see.
picture and feed there.
Antipov and Oparin, not Repka though.
Oh, what do we have here? So this is I'm not even sure what this is.
All
But
right,
black
let's
seems
find out.
that's oh yeah, that's Rogozin, right? No, it's Bogo Indian. Is this some kind of line? Yeah, both sides have been spending quite a bit of time here. E5 though. E5
Is that a
makes sense.
gambit?
It looks like a gambit, but actually it makes sense because black light squared bishop is really not feeling all that great, right? That's black's way of trying to solve their worst piece problem, which is an important skill to have, right? So at some point one or more of your pieces will experience difficulties. I would say probably wants to go to f5, right, to apply pressure against the c2 queen, but g4 would probably work as well. But yeah, it's important skills. Problem solving in chess is important skill, and then problem recognition is probably the most important skill, right? You need to recognize that, oh wait, I need this guy to be elsewhere, right? And then you need to solve the problem. So really two skills that you're looking at. I would say for the most part in chess, two skills. Obviously, we are also talking time management. We're also talking strategic thinking and like all these things. But the two major things for me is problem recognition, problem solving. That's like the you know the baseline
I thought
of what
like giving
chess
up
has to
pawns
offer.
was also a skill, right?
Giving up material is also a skill.
It's-
So for all you guys who blunder pieces, don't worry. It takes a skill to be brave enough
There's an
to
art
give
to it.
away your soldiers. Yeah.
All right, what about is there anything with like taking on d5 and then like bishop
Bishop c4.
c4? Yeah.
Hmm. So for some reason the engine is not recommending that one, right? So t takes d5. Let's see, what are we missing? Uh, maybe black can just start with knight takes d2. So black maybe can throw in an intermediate capture on d2. And then if white, can we have this on the board? Yeah, so c takes d5. Now if queen takes d5, well, yeah. Yeah, knight takes d2 is a correct move. And now if white takes on c6, black can once again take with a check. G takes, and now we can do e takes d4. But even this looks pretty good for white because white can now long castle, solving two issues at the same time. So the king safety issue and then pinning the d4 pawn. So I like this when I see this, but obviously there are better options here for white. And that's why I guess that's what white is currently considering. Gleb Duding is actually a very strong player. I had a I had a chance to play him recently in one of the closed events organized by St. Louis Chess Club. Very nice guy. So props to him.
International master, I
And
see. Do you
interest,
think they're
yeah.
gonna be getting the GM title soon?
He's been doing very well. He had, very decent results at the tournament. I think he might have even scored higher than me in the tournament that I was referring to. It's called St. Louis Super Swiss, I believe. But yeah, he's definitely gained a lot of rating. I'm not sure if he's over 2500 live, but he's definitely um you know he's definitely going up there.
And I think the fourth player from Mizzou is Raja. So I know that they also
Hmm.
have an IM on their roster, Josiah Sterman, who
Hmm.
recently got a GM norm. But I don't know if he's in St. Louis. Do you know like how many players are allowed? It's like six, right?
I believe so. I believe it's 4 main and 2 subs. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know who the subs are for these teams yet, but maybe they have like a roster listed somewhere. I don't know.
There should be a I think the main arbiter has posted all the pairings and all the rosters on his Twitter. I think that's where I got the
On
info
Twitter.
from, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of a little bit difficult to come by this information. We should probably didn't Lim make any public announcements in this regard that the pairings and like all the tournament info is going to be available somewhere. I think
I'm not sure.
there should be something like that. No?
We'll
Okay.
have to see.
Or maybe he can tell us about it
Um,
later.
but yeah, playing right now, Gleb is the only international. Actually, no, sorry,
No,
Irakli
Irakli is also,
Maratza. Yeah, so there's two IMs, everyone else GMs. So really shows it's a high level tournament, and it's really hard to even make this tournament. You have to be a top four team in the Pan Ams. I believe Webster won
Mhm.
that, right? 6-0.
Um, I you're talking about Panam,
Yeah, yeah.
last year's Panam? Yeah.
This
Six
year's
six. So
this
yeah,
year's Pan Ams.
yeah. Yeah, but
So
Webster's team
like
went
you would
6-0.
say
Yeah.
Webster's the favorite to win this tournament, right?
Well, it's I would say Webster has been favored to win most years, but you know it it's difficult l- to live up to your name, if that makes any sense, because there's more pressure on you because you're stronger rating wise. So you feel the need to sometimes you feel the need to take chances that otherwise you wouldn't take if you were playing for yourself. But because you know that you're expected to win, and everyone's eyes are on you. Sometimes you misstep and 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 push too hard, and I would say that's probably what happened to Webster, because I believe we haven't won a Final Four for many years in a row.
Wow. Wait,
So
so
yeah,
how many years did you play for Webster?
uh, 8.
8. And how many times did
Well,
you guys, well,
okay, technically I played 6 years for Webster, but I was at school for eight
yeah.
years. I was still kind of sort of representing the team in some other competitions, but one can only participate in 6 years worth of Pan Ams and Final Fours.
How
So
so
I only did six, huh?
how many Final Fours did you win?
I think it's either 3 or 4.
Okay.
If I were to guess, it's probably three.
And do you remember like how many Pan Ams that you or did you make Final Four like every year or
We
no?
made Final Four every time. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I had a few clutch performances here and there. I wouldn't say I was always a clutch player, but I was always a solid player who didn't lose. I mean, I was just holding my board nicely. I wasn't losing. I was just playing it safe, and sometimes every now and then I would pop off. But yeah, I've had a great experience with Webster, and I had amazing time playing on a team, and it's a kind of experience you only get once, I would say. So if I could, I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, college chess is it's a tight window to compete in because once you're out of college you can't go back
Yeah.
so but I know now that you're out of school, like, are you competing in the Pro Chess League or no?
I did. I was playing for California Unicorns. Unfortunately, our team didn't do very well and we got knocked out. We'll try again. Definitely, we'll try again next time. But yeah, I, you know, the Pro League just so happened to be while I was on a trip to Europe. So I also was sick quite often while on the trip. For some reason, I've been getting sick left and right. Even now, I'm not at my best shape in terms of health. So I would say I played worse than my normal state. So yeah, I wouldn't say I was the sole reason for why my team lost the match that I was helping them with. That was just one. I couldn't make it to any other match, but it was tough. Um, it felt really rusty, and yeah, my rapid chess. I haven't seen any rapid chess ever since the last pro league that I played. It was what, a year ago, I guess. So yeah, that's my experience. But once again, there's always in terms of pro league, I think it's safe to assume there's always a next time.
We
It's
have a
been
question in chats asking
Yeah.
if you've ever lost a game in the Final Four.
I in Final Four. Oh, that's a good question.
You have to
I
think
lost in
it's
Panam. Yeah, I have to think. I don't think so. Yeah, I think the answer is no.
wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I lost in Panam for sure.
So it's GM Vladimir Beluz asking in chat.
Vlad GM Vladimir who? Excuse me.
Beluz.
Belarus. Okay. Yeah, the name doesn't really ring a bell, but
I don't
I
know either.
I well, I'm not sure if he played or something,
It's
but
a
yeah,
Twitch username. Who
Oh, I
knows?
see. This just username.
Who
Gotcha. Yeah,
knows?
I don't have access to chat. I mean,
Oh.
maybe I could pull it up and also
Uh,
skim through questions every now and then. But yeah. We have a unusual turn of events in Dragon versus Apparent game. Something I did not expect to happen. F5. So we've seen this position at this point, where bishop e2, and now black goes f5, and white goes into deep thinking. The engine just hates it for black. You see, f5 says plus 1.43.
after castles. So what's the
The
point of
castles.
f5? Is it to try to play f4? Or
Maybe it's to kind of get yourself ready for the pawn rush right on the king side, because f5, if you have a pawn on f5, it definitely is going to be helpful, because after you get to play g5, you can follow it through with f4, g4, etc. So I guess in this regard, f5 makes sense, but my only concern is that it might have been a tiny bit too slow. Actually, I can cheat a little bit. I can pull up chessbase and take a look at what black usually does. Let me see.
oh, instead of f5?
Well, yeah, just in general. Because maybe there was some, maybe we're currently in a sideline, because once again, I'm not a big opening specialist, so I'm gonna help myself, whatever I can. Okay, so we have, yeah, um this particular way of playing this line has been played multiple times, but a3 is already and I would say it's not a novelty, but it's a sideline which has seen. Well, Magnus played it. Magnus played it
That must be
earlier
good
this
then, right?
year. Well, he played it in Rapid game against
Ah,
Hikaru Nakamura and ended up winning. And this is basically they're basically following the game, but instead of so move 12, instead of Lone Castle in that game, black went Rook b8, which was slightly dubious, and black basically suffered for the rest of the game. In this game, however, black castled, and after bishop e2, black plays f5, which is not preferred by the engine once again, but yeah, this position is complicated, and it's really not easy to say why f5 would be dubious. I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand why f5 is not great. Because the moves that engine is recommending are the moves that would never make it the board, basically. So
absolutely.
the move that Stockfish 15 is recommending here is Queen C6 instead of f5, which doesn't make all that much sense to me. Yeah. Well, it makes sense in terms of creating a battery against the white's king side, but it doesn't seem like the battery is all that a factor right now. Plus, we cannot remove the f3 knight, so it doesn't seem possible to move this knight away. But I guess, okay, so I think I understand why this move is going to be played, right? Because here you see this line where white gets to play castle and then knight d2. So I guess in order to prevent white from playing knight d2, black wants to have the battery set up already at place, right?
Yeah,
So that
pins the
knight
knight.
can only go, yeah, the knight can only go to e1 or to h4, because those are the only two squares from which it's going to defend the g2. Moving the knight seems to be essential, because white wants to have some pressure against c4, but white probably wants to have opportunity to play bishop f3 to play against the strong white squared bishop of blacks. Yeah, and yeah, that's why queen c6 I guess is preferred, but f5 doesn't seem all too bad either. So let's see how the game
Well,
goes.
how do you feel about en passant?
En passant, I do not feel very well about en passant.
What's
Maybe we
wrong
can en
with
passant a bit later. Maybe we can castle and then we can en passant.
No, after you
That
castle, you can't en passant anymore.
What do you mean? Really?
Yeah, en passant's
But
only available for the immediate turn.
oh, do you have you watched the video I'm referring to? Because
No.
there was once you know, you know, there was once a commentary on Chat 24's channel, and um, I forgot who was doing the commentary, but something happened in their software, and they were commentating a position, and they said, oh, in case here, black can do ampersand, but then if you move, if you can only do it once, you can only do it immediately after the pawn move happens. So you see if you play like a random move and then try it again, and then
Oh,
they
and it
tried it
still
again, and it
worked.
worked. It
Yeah,
worked.
it's
Yeah,
funny. I remember
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was who was it? It
Oh,
was it
Talia's saying it's Fiddler.
Svidler? Yeah, Svidler, right? Peter Svidler, and then someone else, and then uh who was it? Well, anyway, yeah, it was Svidler, and then Svidler commentating with someone. Yeah, but it was just kind of funny. I was wondering if maybe we could try it here as well, but no, it's fine. I'm sure chess.com software works as
Talia
intended.
says Jan.
Jan, yeah, Jan. No, not Tim. Jan, wait, which Jan? Okay, Talia knows better.
Dinesh says it's Miro.
What?
Talia's saying Gustafsson. Or maybe
Gustafsson,
Miro.
yeah, okay, Gustafsson for sure. No, Gustafsson for sure. 100% guaranteed Gustafsson, and then probably Miro or Miro or Svidler. I would say it's probably Svidler. Svidler and Gustafsson. I think those were the two. Yeah. I mean, it's very easy to check, right? You can just Google it. It's famous.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's good to see Danish in the chat as well as Talia. Talia, obviously
Yay.
a Slew fan. Maybe we watch some Slew games. We haven't looked at all of them yet, I think.
Very exciting position in a Rams game against Nicolas Teodoro. Looking kind of cool. I'm a big believer in the Rams position here.
All right,
Not quite sure what happened in the opening phase. It seemed to be some weird Rossolimo. Oh, I mean, it's probably not that weird, honestly. Like, this is a line, but it just doesn't seem good for black. I don't know. Well, for example, Queen G4 is a mistake.
it
Whoa.
does not like Queen G4 because of the move.
Well, why is it good? It's just a mistake.
Knight E7.
Knight E7 is a move that's difficult to find because
Give
it
up the
involves
pawn. Give up the
that's just
second
not just
pawn.
one. Yeah, you give up both pawns, then you long castle and you say take the pawn f7 as well. Please be my guest. I'm going to just checkmate you on the H and G files, and it's gonna happen. Nothing you can do about it. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but yeah, it's what was the correct move? It seems the black is already better here. Like I just maybe
Like
just done it. Yeah, H1. Okay, the f4 is invulnerable. That's funny. F4, yeah, f4 is not hanging because after king h1, if bishop takes f4, we have queen f3, right? And we're gonna win the pawn back, but the pawn we're about to win back is way more valuable than f4. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, king h1 is a move. It seems like a useful move, but I wouldn't consider it.
It's a legal move.
What do you mean the legal?
It's legal. It's
legal?
A legal move. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a legal move for sure, but it wouldn't be my first choice, you know.
Yeah.
Queen G4 would be my first choice.
Queen G4 looks first choice. Okay.
Yeah, because it looks very logical. It defends, it attacks, develops the queen. If we are trying to do something on the king side, we are going to be trying to play a 5 probably and open things up. Queen E1?
Queen all the way back home.
Right? Am I seeing this right? Okay, so maybe Aram did realize that okay, maybe the queen doesn't belong there. Also, it's one of those cases where like you made this decision. So I would say probably like stick with it. Instead of queen e1, I would likely go for something like queen h3. Can we check if that would have been better? Queen h3 and then queen h3 f5. I don't know who the ancients thinks we are. Right after queen h3 f5, like I personally have no idea. But why is taking on f5 bad? Takes, and then I guess black is gonna take back with the e pawn or something.
Why not the g pawn?
Because g pawn queen h5 and the king is gonna lose the ability to castle. Yeah, over here queen h5.
Yeah.
But maybe this is good. Oh my god, king d8, and black is almost winning. Okay, there's just so many things I do not understand in this game. You see, just king d8, it's fine. Our king is in the center. But I guess this pawn chain, the d7, e6, the 5 pawn chain is taking good care of black's entire position, and the bishop on b3 is now really stupid, with no prospect of getting opened up, right? So while previously we could at least try to play f5 and break through the pawn chain, now we can't even do that. Excuse me.
So yeah, it's funny. G takes is it's
The
actually
best.
it's better, and then E takes is it's plus 1.6. It's
That would have been
rook
something I
E1.
would say yes, of course. But yeah, I guess
Rook E1 just so good.
yeah, it's just knight f3. The d4 has become a major weakness. The e file is under white's control. You know, it's all coming together here for white. But g takes, yeah, g takes. Dreaded
Well,
g takes f5.
why
I guess
white
maybe
didn't go
this
for
is why.
this?
Maybe this is why we shouldn't provoke the move g6. No, okay, but g6 wasn't even the best move in the position. But somehow black is able to use it well as as well. Right? See this g6 move. It's not the best, but
So
it
okay,
comes
are you
comes
expecting
comfy.
F5 here
Um,
or castles?
well, here it makes even more sense because now black doesn't even have to, you know, move the king after. Yeah, f5
Yeah.
takes. Obviously, take back with g because, as we know, taking back with e creates way too many weaknesses in black's position. So yeah, I guess f5 is probably going to happen. Because it's hard to advise much else for black, right? Black can definitely try to maybe like go for long castle, but this is one of those cases where you don't really wanna decide where your king goes until you made an absolute sure that it's gonna be safe, right? Because if I were black, I wouldn't long castle at all because white still has stuff like a4 where it can just expose my king, right? So I wouldn't long castle. Short castling after playing g6 especially also seems a bit dubious, right? Plus there's a knight in the way, not quite sure where to drop the knight. So I guess playing f5 and trying to consolidate in the center, maybe center is the safest place for the king, right? Because sometimes that's the case. There are openings like that, like for example, advanced French.
Well,
It's the
the,
first one that comes to my mind
the
because I used to play advanced French, where things just get locked down in the center, and you don't even have to castle as black. Just keep your king on
the
e8.
king is it's there's a fianchetto in the center of the board.
There you go. Yeah, Pianketta, nice. Okay, now no more. Okay, f5 happened,
F5,
I
all right.
guess. Yeah, if Aram takes on f5, yeah, he might. I don't think he has any reason to take on f5. He probably doesn't understand that taking actually benefits black the most, because I think one of the reasons for why taking on f5 benefits black is because that light squared bishop in b7, it becomes really happy, right? It's gonna be extremely aggressive, extremely attacking, and yeah, no need for white to be doing that to themselves. Okay. So not looking good for Aram, I guess. Looked promising, but then a little bit of analysis, not without Engine's help. I guess now I understand this position a little bit better. Okay, cool. What else do we have? Let's see. We have
How about
Mikhail.
John? I was gonna
Uh,
just say I don't think we've looked at Robbie Kevlashvili's game or John Burke's game.
oh yeah. Okay, yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is going on here? So if you go back to the very beginning, I believe this is the classical Sicilian, right? Knight f6, knight c6. Yeah, classical Richter Sicilian castle. Still, yeah, still an opening line, right? Takes, and bishop e7. I I've tried this line with white last year, and it was tough to play. Like the engine really likes these positions for white, but oh, actually, I think John might be like a specialist in this because how long did he spend for the move a4? I feel like he might know something that the engine doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised
The clock
that
says
that
this
was
was
the
a
case.
7-minute move.
7 minute move. Okay. So you see, this queen takes before here that's been suggested by the engine is a move that's really tough to make because like this is the kind of pawn that you probably are going to be somewhat scared of taking, right? Because he opens up the b file, but can immediately play d5, breaks through in the center. Yeah, so I think it's likely that John had something in mind here for when white takes in b4. But yeah, now knight d4, and you see looks like Black's attack is going to be faster, right? So the engine evaluation we're getting this minus 0.46, which is strange. I think it means absolutely nothing in my mind, but it just seems that, to me it seems that Black is already, kind of ready to go. Like A3 is happening, D5 is happening. Now it's all the matter of whether Black can, make the most out of their attack. But White is still kind of, lagging behind. White still needs to play H5. White still needs to try and break through the pawn chain on the king side, is if there's going to be one. Not even sure Black needs to react to H5 at all. Like if White ever goes to H6, we're gonna play G6. Doesn't seem like much going on for White there. So yeah, I mean, I know how scary and unpleasant these positions can be when you're playing it as White. So it's talking from experience. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a lot of experience, probably like a couple of games of experience, but nevertheless,
You played a game or two, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. This actually used to be an E4 only until the age of 13, I would say 14.
13.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, people would play this against me a lot, and I had some sideline where I was just beating people left and right.
What was your rating at 13?
Well, 13 I was already a GM. 13 I guess 2500, 25.
So E4 is all you need to get to GM.
Yeah, my openings were horrible. Okay, no. Okay, so this is like a direct insult to my coach. I think I shouldn't be saying that. But for high level play, my openings were lacking, and yeah, my coach was a sideline aficionado, if I can, call him that, and he I'm gonna use the gaming term here, bear with me. He carried me with the sidelines all the way until International Master, and like and it's slightly higher than the IM title, basically.
Okay.
And yeah, my coach's name is Nikolai Bodnar, by the way. He's a I'm not sure if he's still an IM, but he was a principal of the chess school, like in Ukraine, like in most Soviet countries, they have specifically dedicated schools for chess, checkers, and sometimes other board games. So as far as I know, he's still. Yeah.
Are you a big checkers fan?
I like to play checkers every now and then. I sometimes use Light Draw's website.
Yes.
Play checkers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that Webster had a checkers team. That's pretty impressive.
Checkers team. I'm pretty sure we could make one because most chess GMs are pretty good at calculating in checkers. Like I played a checkers. Like I have a good friend of mine whose friend is checkers grandmaster, and
wait, there's grandmaster titles for checkers?
Yeah, their rating system is really weird. Like if the rating system is so that if you have like 2350, you're like a really strong GM. Like it's weird. I've seen their tournaments and their rating distribution.
Is there like a FIDE version of
checkers? Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. Basically the same. They use the same rating system. It's just that the ratings are significantly lower than.
This isn't like a April Fool's joke.
No, it isn't. It's a real thing. I've seen it with my own eyes. So, well, I mean, I've only seen a few of those, so I can't say how maybe things differ from tournament to tournament. But that's the one I've seen. I've seen my friend's friend who is a GM in checkers and whose rating was, I believe, at the time 2280. That's what I've seen, playing on second board against someone who was rated 2345, and they drew. So that's basically that.
That's a good result for your friend's
friend. And I played him.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, I guess. I played him a couple of games, and obviously when we play with clock, like I lose easily. But when we played a couple of games without the clock, I was able to sneak out with a draw or two. Like out of 5 games we played, I think I made 2 draws with no clock. So yeah, it's not impossible for a chess grandmaster to. I'm probably on the weaker side too. I'm pretty sure, like for example, Vasily Ivanchuk, like a chess legend from Ukraine, he's great at checkers. Like I know he's like a big checkers fan.
I saw a video where he was like at an award ceremony or whatever. He was playing checkers.
Playing checkers. Yeah. He gets called and he just stands up.
He runs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
I remember that video too. Nova Silly is great, yeah.
All right, so it looks like John Burke castles and gives white another opportunity to take on b4, but now that the rooks are connected, probably it's even worse to take at this point.
Yeah, because a3 is coming, rook fb8 is gonna come, right? It's just keeping the important rook on a8. Oh, actually, do we keep the rook on a8? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, definitely, if white takes, the game is gonna become extremely dynamic. So, um, I mean, I wouldn't advise my worst enemy to be taking the pawn on b4. I'm not gonna lie.
So
I, much easier to play this for black.
when black castles, does this help maybe give white an opportunity to catch up in the race? Like you're
Once
still
again,
not
yeah.
worried.
Yeah, once again, I wasn't sure what happened. So even if white does get to play h6, I'm just gonna play g6, and I'm failing to see the follow up.
Makes
Right,
sense.
it's just queen f4 is never working because of e5. Right, queen f4 is gonna run into a fork. So that's the only follow up I see as of right now. Maybe as we go on, as the game progresses, maybe I'll see maybe there's some knight f5 sacrifices or whatnot. But as
Yeah.
of right now, yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah, this game I wonder if either side is gonna get mated in this game. In the meantime, Gleb Dudin has found the best response. This game against Christopher Repka, he took the e5 pawn, and now he's up a pawn. Now the question is whether white can keep the pawn. Sorry, not sure what is it with me yawning the whole
You're
day.
good. That's an early tournament, man. This 10
No,
a.m.
yeah, 10
start,
a.m.
right?
10
Like,
a.m. Yeah, I suffer. I'm not exactly a person who wakes up early. Yeah, so 10 a.m. is
um, yeah, they
big
should
10.
so I know Webster's hosting it, right? Uh,
Yeah, they're actually playing over at the Webster's campus. Probably like a 15-minute ride from me.
okay,
I
so
could,
you could go and you could go see the games yourself.
I could, yeah, but then I can't be here commentating with you. So I mean, I could. Okay, technically, I could
uh,
bring my laptop and
I'm
my
joking.
whatever, everything. Yeah.
So yeah, is there like a nice playing hall that you guys have?
Well, Webster, yeah. So Spice office, we have the office itself, and then we have a lot of space right by it. So we have like an office. I would say the office is taking maybe like 1/5 of the overall space on of the floor, and we have the entire floor to ourselves. And this is why we were able to like, you know, back in the days when I still was on the team, we had like two table tennis tables and then like a bunch of other stuff in the free space that we had. So I'm pretty sure that's where they're hosting the event. Uh, it's the space is massive. Like I don't know how much space that is, but it's enough to host a tournament for, I would say, over 100 people. It's
Okay.
enough space.
So you
Yeah.
think that these four teams are comfortable?
Well, I mean, in terms of space, in terms of the ability to move around freely, I would say yes. I hope everyone is in a good state of mind and nobody
Well,
has got scared of the
is
storm
is
last night and stuff.
does Webster have a home field advantage? You
Oh,
think?
well, yeah, I would say so because as far as I know, most, if not all, of the players live on campus, which is literally across the street from the playing area. I'm not sure where the other teams stay.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
they're also staying on campus. Who knows?
SLU is relatively close by, right? It's not that
It's
far.
like a 20-minute drive here, like about the same amount as it is for me, just a bit, I would say, a bit further
Okay.
away.
Um, all right, so yeah, they spent a ton of time on these last few moves here,
Mhm.
and we do see this bishop f5 idea that you pointed out. I think,
Really been hated by the engine now because bishop d3 and white it looks like white is gonna keep the pawn, and that's kind of all that matters right now, I believe.
bishop d3 seems very natural.
Natural, yeah. Bishop d3 is probably gonna happen because I'm failing to see any other possibility because knight g3 is a big threat, right? Knight jump and discovery attack is a big threat. So like to counter it, we need to put something in between the queen and the knight, yeah. And we just so happen to be able to do it while also developing
Yeah.
Basically, the moves that do two or more things at the same time are the most valuable moves in chess, right? Because like even if you look at most openings, like in the beginning, whenever you're developing, usually you develop and attack something. Usually you develop and try to get control over the center, etc. So usually ideally you want to do multiple, you want to accomplish multiple goals with a single move, and that's how basically it's all about being efficient at the board, right? You don't
Yeah.
want to be wasteful. You don't want to waste time, both no both the time of the pieces and your time on the clock.
So bishop d3, do you think black's gonna take on d2?
I don't really see what else. I guess maybe just something like rook e8. I wonder if black can just ignore white for a little bit. So like bishop d3, maybe rook e8, trying to win the e5 pawn back somehow. Because it looks like it's not going to happen if black takes in d2 and goes for this massive trade. So just what the engine is recommending.
Yeah, because
So
it's not
bishop
very
d3,
good.
yeah. Um, bishop d3, rook e8, maybe. So I think in this position, white probably wants to castle long. Like even
Oh,
the line that the engine is just suggesting, white castling along in these structures is not unusual. Like this is I would call it a typical Rogozin structure because there's a line in Rogozin where black, but okay, but that's the point. In that line, black usually takes in c4 first and then gets to play e5 without bearing any material losses. And in here, black did eventually black did get to play e5, but now unfortunately they're missing a pawn, which is not coming back to them for a while. And in that, okay, what was he going towards with this is that in that line, in those lines where black gets everything correctly, in those lines, it's not unusual for white to castle long and use their bishop pair advantage to kind of like roll on the king side, like just go g4, h4 and stuff. But obviously it's very position specific. Like here it would not work probably.
I think your former coach is in the chat.
Oh wait, that's my former coach. Who is
Japanese
that?
tutor.
Oh, what? I mean, yeah, he's still my coach.
Oh,
Hello,
sorry.
coach. What's up, coach? What are you doing, coach?
Um,
Probably a
sorry.
poker coach now, is more than
Poker.
anything.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but you and I have actually met in Vegas and played some poker.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was like the last day. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that was fun, fun
So,
times, fun times.
do you plan on going again?
I will be. Yeah, I'll be in Vegas. Basically, like half of the June. Yeah, there's two events in a row. I think there's uh, um, Las Vegas Swiss, I believe, organized by Thousand GM guys, aka Josiah Stearman, who is one of the organizers, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. And then immediately after there's National Open, so I'm staying for that as well.
I didn't know Josiah was organizing tournaments in Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, but that's new. Like I think that's their first in Vegas. That they're gonna host in
Well,
Vegas. But most of their
Josiah's on
events.
the Mizzou team.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, he's
I I
a grad student now. He's new this year.
I didn't even know that he's in St. Louis, honestly.
Well, I mean, if he's traveling with the Mizzou team, then he's in St. Louis right now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
Traveling with Mizzou.
yeah,
Oh right. Yeah, yeah.
Mizzou's
I'm
not
I'm
really in
I'm
St.
sorry.
Louis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. Just
It's like in
brain fart.
Columbia,
Mm-hmm.
Missouri,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a
You're right.
couple hours.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. It's not. Yeah. It's a
But
bit of drive. Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, Ilya, did you know that I'm originally from St. Louis?
No, I had no idea. Where are you at now?
I'm in LA.
Oh, LA. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Speaking of
That's
LA, did you see Susan Polgar tweeted that she accepted a a 5-year deal at University of Los Angeles? It was an
what?
April Fool's joke, I'm assuming.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah, of course. Of course it is. Of course it is.
but
Susan and Paul are officially retired, and they've done so much for collegiate chess that they deserve all the break they can get and more.
well, she said it
If
was
there's
a
break, Mhm.
$10 million deal. So I
I
don't
don't,
know.
I don't, I don't think, I don't think.
I mean,
Maybe,
would
but
she
I
come out
would,
of
I would be
retirement for
very
that?
surprised. No, yeah, I think no. I
No?
think I would be very surprised if that's the case. But I think at this point, at this stage of season post lives, they probably, you know, probably money is secondary at this point. It's more important to, to enjoy yourself, to maybe do something they've been meaning to do for a while, and they didn't have that something that they didn't have enough time to do while they were working. So,
Well,
you can't buy everything with money. Like your time is not, you can buy time with money. So.
I would love to see more more schools get like professional coaches and teams,
hmm
right? So
Well, looks like collegiate chess has been developing uh, pretty rapidly, so I wouldn't be surprised to see new faces, like a lot of new students and new coaches coming in the next couple of years. I'm not going anywhere. I'll probably get to see them, hopefully.
when
uh,
Webster got a team, uh, and I know that Susan was the coach while you were there.
uh-huh.
If she didn't end up going there and starting the Spice program, do you think that you probably would have gone to a different
Oh,
university?
absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, I had couple of invitations pending, but as soon as I got invitation from Susan, it was just everything else was just on.
Hard to turn down.
Yeah, basically. Well, I just knew a lot about Susan, about what she does, about you know how famous of a player she was, and about her line of work that she is in in college chess. And obviously I didn't know all that at the time, but I've discovered that immediately after I received her invitation, and my parents said, okay, well, there's this is a great opportunity for you if you want to combine education and chess, because no other, probably not, like, it's very likely that no other school can offer you the same possibility. Like, just
That's awesome.
other schools are, like, they're more focused on either studies or chess, but it's not, I've never, you know there's always a trade-off. But with Susan and Webster, it was basically perfect, and everything I didn't accomplish was completely on me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Um, well, when you joined the program there, like how old was the program at that time?
Not that old, I believe. So I joined in 2014, summer 2014. I believe the program has been. It's been. Yeah, I'm one. I wouldn't say I'm one of the founders or the founder players of the program, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
like the
I think the
second.
program was probably, yeah, I might be second or third generation of players.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one. Probably third. But Danish would know better. So Danish Boris would know better, because I think he's one of the first players know, who joined
So is that how
the
you met
program.
Danish?
That Yeah, so I think Danish was on the team ever since. So the team actually, the Spice has actually moved from one of the Texas universities,
Yeah,
as far as I know, and Danish was on the team at that time, so he actually moved from Texas to St. Louis.
he's a
Um,
transfer.
and yeah, he's a transfer, but not really a transfer, but just followed the team, followed the team's lead, or
Huh.
Susan's lead, I guess, in this case.
Well, I mean, I mean, maybe we should bring on Danish at some point and ask him. Maybe he could be our
For sure,
guest.
yeah. Yeah, definitely he would be able to answer more precisely, because yeah, I've never really asked him a lot much about it. Um, I do know that as the team moved to Webster, um, we got a lot more players, and we had a lot, or the team had received a lot better conditions than before. That was the purpose of moving, I guess. And you know, and then there was Vasily, who unfortunately decided to leave Webster and become full-time professional, and it seems to be working out for him. Knocking on wood.
I've heard of Wesley. I think he's a pretty good chess player.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
pretty
Um,
good.
Also, I know like, well, okay, who would you say would be the strongest four players Webster's ever had?
Vasily Ray,
Top two?
yeah, Vasily Ray top two, like, hands down. Uh, so I know
Yourself? Didn't-
Probably. I'm just trying to be modest and there
That's
was
why
a.
that's why I'm offering.
I'm bad with names. I
And-
know there was this a player from Germany. I even played him. Yeah, it's just
I don't know.
a really
It's
strong GM from Germany who he also has a very solid play style as well. So I think Susan and Paul always were mentioning him that George. Yeah, so his name is George. Oh my God,
Meyer.
what's the family? Maya. There you go,
I
George
was
Maya.
gonna
Thank
say
you.
I only
How
know
did you?
one GM from Germany,
How did you? Yeah,
Georg
exactly. So George
Meyer.
Maya. Yeah, exactly. So he was on the
I
team,
didn't
and
know
then
he went to
he.
Webster.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I'm
wow.
pretty sure he did. Unless I'm going completely insane.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't know, but I did meet him at the Pro Chess League finals in 2019. He
Uh
was
huh.
playing, I guess was it the Berlin Bears?
Uh huh.
Did they make it to the finals? I guess they did.
Wait, once again, sorry. I was just checking George's LinkedIn. I think I was right. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Go again.
Yeah, Georg Meyer I met at the 2019 Pro Chess League finals.
Uh huh.
So I
Uh huh.
guess
Uh
he
huh.
was
Oh
playing
yeah.
for the Berlin Bears.
Uh huh.
Um, yeah, it was. I guess it was the Bears, the Armenian Eagles, the Archbishops, and the Chinese Pandas or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah. I remember that was pretty cool event. They got to play on stage and Twitch headquarters or
Did
something,
you
right?
go? You
No,
played?
no, I
No.
didn't.
Okay.
I no, I didn't. Yeah, I was not. We didn't make it. I think that was the year when we made it to not quarterfinal, but what 1/8, I think.
So
And then
you were playing for the California Unicorns?
no, no,
No.
I was just for Webster at
Oh,
that
for
time.
Webster. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but with Webster just hadn't like our players were very strong by
Yeah.
themselves. We had a couple of 2670 people and stuff. It was Ray, me, and like other very strong 2600 GMs. And we made it to 1/8, and then we got knocked out, I believe, by Slew.
Slew. Yeah, Slew had
So
some
yeah,
players that were on
their
the
team.
Archbishops team. I know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
Archbishops and Slew are, I would say, essentially
the
the
same
same. Well,
team.
no, not Slew. Sorry, it was Archbishops. I'm not sure why I'm saying Slew, but
They're so
Archbishops, I think,
synonymous.
is owned by, yeah, or sponsored by people from
Um,
Slew. Yeah.
so all right, we do see Bishop D3, and now Chris
hmm
Repka's in an interesting spot here. You're expecting Rook E8, is what you're saying.
Um, well, Rookie 8 seems reasonable unless it loses. I feel like there might be something like some tactic that I'm missing, and Rookie 8 is just losing the game. Um, but probably not. Yeah, the only problem is that even if Black does win their pawn back, like because White has a bishop pair advantage, and yeah, I guess that's why the engine is recommending to just get rid of the bishop pair and just take on D2. But that means that they're not winning the E5 pawn back for a while. And Rook E8, I wonder if you can just long castle and just kind of ignore the fact that we're losing the pawn. No, we cannot. Okay, so what are we supposed to do then? Maybe take on D5? Yeah, there must be something I'm missing here. Instead of castle. Oh. Rook E8 looks very logical. Bishop C3. Oh wow. Actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, now we have perfect defense for the E5 pawn. If not ever takes on C3, we're not gonna take the knight, we're gonna take the bishop on F5. And then we're just gonna win a bunch more stuff. Like H7 begins hanging, the knight on C3 is hanging, the D5 is hanging, so all these things, I
Hmm.
think the position is just gonna fall apart. So I guess that's why if Black wants to make something happen immediately, they have to take on D2 because otherwise it comes to C3 and the E5 just stays.
Uh,
Okay, so
yeah, you want to
mhm.
look at some other games?
Yeah, some interesting stuff going on on Benjamin's games.
The
We have
Benjamins.
Benjamin's games, yeah. Not sure what in the world is going on here, but that's what I said. Exactly what I said. That no, white is up a pawn, but their king is on e1, and black is really trying to open up the center. So I guess after black, actually maybe black is not even going to recapture. Like this looks extremely scary. So for example, if oh black did recapture,
At like
I thought
90.
maybe black can try for some like knight e5 and then like bishop f5 instead. Uh, Yet the engine seems to like it for some reason. For white. Yeah, knight e5 exactly. That's what I thought is gonna happen. And rook takes f5 seems a bit too slow, right? Because you want to get as all not as many, but all of your pieces in as quickly as possible. And the rook was already kind of like semi-active on the f file, but the bishop on c8 and rook on a8, I'm sure they would love to join. That's why I was maybe thinking that knight e5 makes sense, so that you can bring the bishop out to f5 with a tempo, right, attacking the queen on c2 at the same time. Yeah, but Benjamin Gudura decides to go for a safer choice, which is recapturing the pawn back. Yeah, but once again, if black doesn't do stuff quick enough, white will just finish developing castle and
Hmm.
be up a pawn, right? That's always the drawback of playing down material and playing for compensation, is because you have to be efficient. You have to be as efficient as you can be, because if you misstep, if you let your opponent swoop away, then you're probably just gonna lose the game. So you have to, the move knight e5 is, I would say, is in the spirit of the position where you have to, like, you don't care about the pawns anymore, you care about pieces in attack and exposing your opponent's king as quickly as possible. So not a big fan of rook e5, but we'll see what happens. Still anyone's game. Benjamin Gledora is also significantly down on time. He's missing about 17 minutes from his clock. There is no second time control as far as I know, right? So they're not going to get extra time after move 40. So yeah, that's once again a scary part about playing positions like these, because it takes a lot of time to figure stuff out on your own, right? It's crazy, a lot of calculations involved, and you need to be efficient with both times, right? With time on the clock, time of your pieces, and it's not easy. So, well, I'm obviously rooting for Benjamin Gledor, as
Oh,
he's on
you're.
Webster's team. Obviously, I'm rooting for Webster, right?
Well, I
But
mean,
Benjamin Balk is also a nice guy, so you know. No, but I'm rooting for Webster.
I just hope
I know everyone from SLU. I know most of these people, and they're all really nice and all. But my heart is with Webster forever.
Benjamin wins.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's probably gonna. Actually, I wouldn't be
They could
surprised to see a
draw.
draw. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a draw
Wouldn't be
as well.
surprised. I mean, it's plus 1.79. That might be the largest advantage of all the games.
Yeah, but I mean, you couldn't tell. I
Who
wouldn't
knows?
say, if I look at this position, I wouldn't say, oh,
It's
white is
completely
plus
winning.
2. Yeah, exactly. No, no, this looks anything but clear to me. It would
um,
look even less clear had black played knight e5, but they didn't. But now with the rook kind of slightly misplaced on the 5, I see that maybe white can try for some. B4 is an important look. I don't. B4 is really critical. I guess maybe Gladura blundered B4, because queen b4 knight e4 and black loses a piece. So um,
Everything's working
b4
out
is just
there.
pushes the knight back to a6. Right, b4 and a6, knight is going to be really misplaced on a6, and white is just going to play a3 and keep the knight locked on a6. That kind of knight on the edge is likely not going to cut it, especially when you're trying to attack. So you need all your pieces at work. The knight on a6 is not just slacking off. It's uh, uh, no, I probably shouldn't say that. Yeah,
um, all right. Well, I see we've got the two Benjamins. I know there's also Benjamin Feingold. Is there like a fourth Grandmaster Benjamin that they could make like a team of Benjamins?
Benjamin Joel, right?
Joel, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
You
and
think
then
that's
with
like the strongest team?
Benjamin T.
Do you think there's a stronger name out there that you can make a team of four
Uh,
grandmasters?
mm,
Maybe like Vladimir or something.
yeah. Well, Team Vladimir's is easy. Well, that's way too easy. You can have, yeah, you just have like
uh,
Vladimir is a very common name, not just Slavic, but just in general. Um, but yeah, no, that that Benjamin team looks pretty strong as is. So I don't think we need to make it any stronger than it already is.
all
Oh my god,
right.
so there was a game that we haven't looked at all, was Yunieski Quesada Perez
Yes.
against Akshat Chandra. Uh, Pretty interesting. What is this? It's Rui Lopez. Rui Lopez. Um, it says Berlin defense. I didn't know that's what it's called, but yeah, black goes for the relatively aggressive g5, and once again, Akshat, as far as I know, Akshat has maybe he used to have, and he doesn't have it anymore, but he used to have a pretty bad time management issues. Right, he used to get himself into time pressure so severe that okay, oh wait, no, this is a line, right? Just yeah, this is the line. D4, yeah, takes.
Hmm.
Okay, so it seems like they both know, but at the same time they spend quite a bit of time here. Black has a bishop pair, right? But for the bishop, okay, it's amazing bishop pair. Both bishops have no opponents, right? No bishops from white side. But for that, black had to ruin their pawn structure, right? So their pawns, they have more pawn islands. The king structure, the king pawn structure is pretty bad. At the same time, right? If you somehow can make sure that the king is safe, and trading queens actually would be a pretty good idea here. So queen f6 I like, because I know that rooks work amazingly with bishops. Like rook and bishop is basically makes up a queen, right? Well, not really, but if you just combine the movements
If
of
you
rook and a
morph
bishop, you get
them,
a queen. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, that's
is there a
the
move?
basic premise.
Is there a move you could do that?
Which move?
Like instead of castling, you castle with like a rook and a bishop, but you make a queen. Basically like promotion, but I'm creating a
You
variant.
combine, you
Yeah.
combine, it's like
Yeah.
Transformers.
That's so like
Transformers, yeah, you
on the
combine them.
board you just put the bishop on top of the rook.
Yeah, and then you have a queen.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's amazing. That would add so much more meaning to keeping certain sets of pieces. And if you do like rook and a knight, you get knight or something. No, bishop and a knight, knight.
A
Okay,
niship.
but
All
Nish,
right.
that's a good one.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. I like chess variants. No, I like having fun with different variants, and it's an amazing game. Like it's possibilities are so immense in chess and any other chess variant. It's fun. Like no need to constrain yourself. Just have fun. It's a game first and foremost. It's a game that teaches us a lot of important life lessons. It's cool that we play it. Just I would
I heard
say,
there's this variant
yeah.
called checkers.
Yeah, no, that's not that we don't do that here.
What? I thought you played checkers. What?
Well, I play checkers, but chess variants, right? Chess variants. We're
That's
talking about chess variants. Checkers is a standalone game of its own, right? It's
oh.
not the chess variant. It's a game with its own rules and its own strategy. It's a cool game as well. Once again, I have nothing against checkers. I enjoy it every now and then, but I do enjoy chess variants more than checkers.
Same. Wait, what's your favorite variant?
Chess 960. I
Mine's
also like the anti-chess. I like
wait,
anti-chess a lot.
what's anti-chess is like you
Give
have
up
to
everything. It's a
yeah.
crazy calculation.
If
You literally
if you can capture, you
when
have to.
you have to capture, and you can win the game from move 2. You can literally calculate everything from move 2. If you make if you're playing black, I think the theory goes like white's first move is e3, like almost always, and then if you play d5 here, I think you just lose as black.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's basically the
crazy.
fool's mate.
Yeah, something like that. So
s-
I like the calculation part.
well,
It's
what
just
about duck chess?
Duck chess is amazing.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the fair share of duck chess recently, but I think it's started to die down a little bit.
Have you played Danish?
I played Danish. Danish is really good.
Yeah.
I started getting a hang of it or a gist of it at some point, but obviously Danish is a extremely strong opponent, and also there was Eric Rosen who
Oh
who
yeah.
basically was I would say I'm not sure if it's fair to call Eric a
The
founder of duck
champion.
chess, but he was maybe champion, but he wasn't the founder. Obviously, he wasn't the one who made the game, right? But he was the one who started playing the game actively and kind of like
He's a
started
big
it.
advocate for ducks.
Yeah, exactly. He likes ducks, man. I mean, he has so many plush ducks and toy ducks, and I'm telling you, it's
Oh.
crazy. And he also has this one big fluffy duck. It's so great.
I didn't know.
Yeah, clearly a big duck fan. All right, what
Well,
do we have? Okay, so mhm.
I was gonna say we might try to do a Duck College Championship over the summer
Oh, nice. It's
for the
gonna be
Collegiate
over
Chess
the
League.
board.
No, well, I mean, I wasn't thinking so, but that would be fun. Okay, we do see the move Queen F6 like you recommended, and you're assuming White's not going to trade, right? Well, like, is White gonna play
Queen D3, I
Queen
guess, would be the
D3?
yeah. Knight D5. Knight D5 looks awkward. And Knight D5 actually Knight D5 is not too bad. Knight D5 bishop takes, pawn takes, and obviously if White could guarantee the knight coming to E4, this would have been great. But White can't because White has D5. And E4 is going to become unavailable for the knight. Well, once again, we're trying to play an E4 because we want our pieces in the center and because we
Yeah.
want the F6 queen out of there. So it's not going to be out of there after Black goes D5, and it's tricky. Once again, Black's pawn structure is nothing to be proud about. But Black has a strong bishop in C5. Black has a reasonable position otherwise, so it's interesting. It's going to be interesting. I do not think White is going to take. Taking an f6 in my mind would equate to admitting that you are giving up your winning aspirations,
Yeah.
because Black's pieces are just better, and you don't have much to play for once you trade queens off the board. So I'm like 99.9% positive that we're gonna see knight f5, and 0.1% that we're gonna see queen d3, and none of queen takes
Wait, so
f6.
Knight F5 is just way better than Queen D3?
Yeah, Queen d3 is too passive, and d5 is if you're mentally prepared to play the position, that structure after knight f5, then you're gonna do it. If you're not ready, then you're gonna play Queen d3. So I guess maybe my judgment that knight f5 is a much bigger favorite to happen is probably incorrect. I think Queen d3 is also
So
should also have its fair share.
Knight F5, is there any chance that Black plays King G6?
I don't think so because knight is gonna get supported with g4, and this gives White an additional possibility because the knight is so annoying in the 5 that Black cannot ignore it, but will have to trade it off.
Okay.
If Black doesn't, then the h6 will become a target, right? If
Yeah.
Black doesn't trade on 5, White will eventually play g3, king g2, and start collecting pieces on the h file, and the h6 is gonna fall. So I think king g6 would just give White an unnecessary extra option, right? Because after g4 we can recapture with g pawn as opposed to the e pawn.
Yeah, it makes
So yeah,
sense. All right,
that's that.
so
And let's see, any other game we haven't seen yet. So we haven't seen the game Antipov Mikhail against Viktor Gazik over here. A pretty exciting position. I believe it's Najdorf, classic Najdorf, right? So e4, c5, and then 3. Yeah, if you can go from the beginning, yep. No, well, with Najdorf is a little twist, a little tweak. Black played knight f6 first. Doesn't really. Oh, okay, never mind.
is this?
f3.
Do you think they could have played like an early draw, knight back, bishop back?
I mean, but why, right? Why does White has Mikhail Antipov has
So
white pieces?
okay, so Gajic would have been happy to
Probably.
see that. So okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Gazik was probably trying to get this line where White goes bishop g5 and then bishop returns over to g3, right? But it's, if you know how to play it, Black is probably going to do fine here. And yeah, this is the pretty classic. It was just a first position into classical. Neither of I personally play h5 to like disallow g4 stuff. But it should be fine. Like there's plenty of games. This is still played on the highest levels. Pretty common stuff. I think in these positions, yeah, White's main plan is to try and like occupy the d5 outpost because it's a central square, like a central outpost. And I'm afraid there's not much Black can do about it. Yes, this move rook takes c4 seems pretty pointless. I guess maybe Black was hoping that they can play something like a5, b4 quickly, but that doesn't seem to be the case because yeah, White goes knight d5, bishop d8, and actually I wonder why the engine likes the move rook h to g1 here. So after bishop d8, the engine said, "Oh, rook h to g1 is a big advantage for Black." Oh, for White. Maybe it's because rook h to g1 makes it so that playing f5 is more difficult. I'm not, because otherwise I'm not sure why Black's
Other
position is working.
sacrifices maybe on f6.
I don't think so, because Black can always just take back with pieces twice, like knight f6, bishop f6. Maybe, but that's why Black is gonna go king h8. So on that note, I'm not sure what's going on. Now it makes sense, but yeah, no, this is kind of the culmination of Black's plan. They usually go f5 here, which is standard. f5 is so that if white takes on f5, they're gonna lose a defender for the d5 knight, so it's gonna be more difficult to keep the knight on d5. Also, it's gonna help Black bring the bishop to f5. And as you can see, if the bishop is in f5, it's gonna be able to apply a lot of pressure on the c file, especially on the c2 pawn. Also, anything white takes on f file is going to open up that said f file, and that works, as a charm for the rook on f8. So that's kind of the whole point of playing f5. Basically, this forces white to make an unpleasant decision. En passant.
It's our favorite.
We can do it later. Yeah. Play knight c3, do it later, or do it now. Whichever one you prefer. So
well, it depends on what platform you're playing on, right?
Yeah, if you're on Chess24, you can do it later. If you're on Chess.com like VR, you probably should do it now if you want to. All right. So yeah, interesting. Once again, it's probably some opening specifics that I'm not aware of. I mean, the fact that white was so much better before, now they're not. Because in my mind, black would still have gotten to play f5. It just would take an extra move, right? King h8. And then f5 still seems to be working just fine for black. So yeah. If white takes on f6, yeah, you see this position becomes really unclear because black still has some issues, black still has some weaknesses, but they're also getting a lot of counterplay, especially in the f file. So no, probably anyone's game at this point in terms of time. Both opponents are doing relatively well. Move 22, they both have used half of their time, and I think it's like an unspoken rule, not a rule, but it's an unspoken recommendation, right? Especially for the sudden death games, where you get extra time after making your 40th move. So for those games, you wanna stick to to 40 minutes per 20 moves rule, or kind of, so that you have a little bit of a leeway, right? If you spend 40 minutes for 20 moves, it means that you're spending an hour and 20 minutes for 40 moves, which leaves you with a little bit of time access in case you need to, to think a bit more about your decisions. So you're gonna have about 15 minutes of extra time to make time control, which is always nice.
But there's no extra time on these games, right?
Yeah, there's no extra time on these games, but I'm just saying that overall, all in all, these guys are doing well if they were playing with a sudden death.
What so. Is there? There's increment, right?
There's increment. There's 30-second increment, but there's no sudden death after move 40. So they're just playing with one time control, 90 minutes per whole game plus 30 seconds starting from move 1.
Yep.
So if they get into time pressure, they'll be playing off of increment.
Do you know how old the President's Cup tournament is? It's like,
oh, it's significantly old. Well, definitely like at least.
I know Pan Am's really
old. So I came to the US in 2014. I came to Webster in 2014. I'm pretty sure it was already like at least 6 or 7 years worth of President's Cup. But once again, this information it should be.
It's probably a Wikipedia page somewhere.
Googleable, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cheat and go ahead and do that.
We're doing our research right now. Yeah, I know Pan Am's is definitely very old.
2001, actually, 2001 was the first.
Okay, so over 20.
I guess we have a 22 years, 22 years, I guess.
Yeah. Did they do it during COVID?
They did it online.
Online Final Four. Yeah, that's interesting. And they are obviously hosting it here at Webster, but 3 of the teams are from Missouri. 1 is from Texas. I figure like probably if there are more teams from Texas, they probably host it there.
I guess, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, right?
Just switch it around depending.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the first time that they're hosting the event at in St. Louis and at Webster's campus. So I know happy to see that.
Webster also hosted the U.S. like College Rapid and Blitz one year, right?
Mm, you yes,
It's
cool.
relatively
Wasn't it on the
yeah.
line? I don't think so. I think it was
There
always on the
was
line.
there was one online. I think the first one was in person.
Oh,
I mean, I could be
maybe
wrong.
I might have forgotten. Yeah,
I think they started it
yeah.
in 2019. I'm not sure.
I think they were all on the line, honestly, because I've played in them too.
Mm,
Yeah, but maybe.
all right. Someone else will have to confirm. Or all right, to Google.
To Google,
um,
no, well, I was there, so
you were there when
yeah.
it was written. All right.
Okay, so in Gleb's Dudin's game, we have the something that we had anticipated. I mean, kind of like knight taking on d2, and just queen capturing back,
Hmm.
and white basically playing was an extra pawn.
So yeah, White's up a pawn from that gambit. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think this was like a line that Chris was prepared for, or you think he just kind of
No,
came up with it on the spot?
clearly he was not very I think he's still not very comfortable. Um,
This
he
E5
seemed to
move.
be, he seemed to be spending quite a bit of time, but it's just all in all, it's just this the opening choice. Doesn't make much sense to me because like if you just think logically about the moves in the opening, like if you go from the very start and I would say go to move to move 4. Yeah, over here. Yeah, d5. D5 is, I guess d5 is fine, but the problem with d5 is that now you're getting this position where you probably, if you take on d2, you're leaving yourself with a bad bishop on c8, right? So you don't have a good bishop anymore if you take on d2, and this is why in some positions it works out, especially in Rogozin, right? In Rogozin, where white's knight is on c3, at least you can capture on c3 and break white's pawn structure, so at least you have something to show for your bad bishop on c8 and for your misplaced knight on c6. But here, as you take on d2, you have nothing to show for it, right? So you immediately see the edge and say, oh, white's position is amazing, and that's probably why that's the case, because you fail to create any issues, but you are experiencing plenty of issues yourself. So that's why the opening choice, the move d5 in particular, the move d5 was, you see, he spent about what was it, 5 minutes for move d5, and it just shows that he probably was not expecting the Bogo Indian from his opponent, the knight bd2 move. And there's many different ways to react to the move knight bd2. I would say one of the most popular ones is just to castle, and then if a3, you can even go back bishop e7. There's this line where black allows white to So can you put it on the board? Just castle
Oh,
over here, and then a3,
A3, my
a3.
bad.
Yeah. A3 is so that we're asking the bishop for what it wants to do, if it whether it wants to take or go back. So both are fine, but going to e7 is kind of cool, because now e4, d6. White goes e4, black goes d6, and it looks amazing for white, but this knight on d2 is really not. It's not. We don't like to see that knight on d2, because it belongs on c3, and it does absolutely nothing on d2. So yeah, because white's pieces are somewhat misplaced, black's position is actually not that bad. The ancient set is like really good for white, but it's tricky. I would say it's not. White probably has slight advantage, but not as big as what the ancient is saying. If black wants to play it safer, I guess they can just take on d2 and play positions that appear in there. Like over a3 takes, and I guess there's d5 now, but which transposes to some lines. There's b6, bishop b7, which is also fine. So yeah.
Yeah, so the whole point of this gambit e5 is to try to get the bishop out. I was wondering like if black could just fianchetto.
You can't, right? So cd, you
Because
physically can't
takes
do
here
that.
and the knight is
Yeah.
hanging. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
if queen d5, bishop c4, and
yeah.
black is probably gonna lose a piece.
So Yeah,
A
we
very
found.
unpleasant spot for black. Yeah, it's just unpleasant spot where you kind of got you are your own worst enemy in this case, and it sucks. Um, it sometimes it happens. Things don't go as planned. So if that's the case, I think the best course of action usually is to just I don't know, try your best to minimize the damage. So let's see if Christopher can survive this game, because I think it's going to be tough to get anything but a draw unless his opponent blunders big time.
Um, I wanted to mention real quick the match format. This is a round robin between these four teams, and the winner actually, it's not about match wins, it's about board wins. So you add up the
Points.
total of all the board points, right?
Yep.
So basically, in normal team format circumstances, you're trying to get to 2.5 points, right? So like,
hmm
if your team has 2 points, you essentially just want to get a draw, right?
hmm Yeah.
But in this format, because the match point doesn't actually matter, every board is essentially just trying to play for a win, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the team format, typically, if you like absolutely need to get a win to like win that match, like if you're at let's say like 1 point or 1.5 or something like that,
One
you're
and a half.
gonna
One and a
put
half.
everything on the line to get that win, and that sometimes puts you in like a dubious position, right, where you're taking bigger risks, bigger
hmm
chances, to complicate things. But
hmm
because that team element is kind of less important in this format, do you think players are going to be like typically more reserved, or especially like in this first round? What do you think?
Yeah. So I think in Final Fours that we've played and won, I think there was always like a team who, a couple of times there was a team who was just you know straight up significantly weaker than the rest of the field, and I would say when that happens, then you need to make absolute sure that you perform to your best ability against a team like that. But in this case, um, you know, I would say all four teams are relatively strong, and maybe while some teams might be slightly weaker in terms of average rating than the others, but there's like no like major underdog, I would say. Um, so yeah, I would expect people to be playing it relatively safe and not like taking gambles, because yeah, this event is much closer to that of you know an open individual event than it is to a team event, right? Because the team points factor is eliminated, so you care about individual performance of your boards more than about the overall result. And so um I would say that people are still gonna try to push for a win, especially when they are rating favorite, but they're not gonna go out of their way to score points. And I think ISIS Susan or Paul did the calculation a couple of times about how many points a team needs to win the first place, and I believe it was something like out of three matches was something like 8.5 points or something. So it's like relatively high, but it's no, not probably not 8.5, probably like eight. It's high, but it's reasonable. Like eight points is you would need to win like 3-1, 3-1 twice, and then score 2-2 draw against the other team, and you'll
Yeah.
probably win the tournament. So it's not unreasonable. You just have to have somebody winning, somebody stronger winning their games, and then
Yeah.
everyone else surviving, and that's it. So
And I do want to mention though, in the third round on Sunday tomorrow,
mhm,
teams will already kind of know their standing and like what they need, right? So
exactly.
then
So it's
that's
gonna
when you're gonna see the most
it's gonna be the
dynamic,
most
and
action for
yeah,
sure. Yeah. For sure.
um, because at that point it's like it's all or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
definitely. It's gonna suck for some teams that are gonna find themselves in a situation where they have to like go all out we have been in that situation before a couple of times, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't fun.
Like you need to win all
Mm.
4 boards or something.
You needed win like with a massive score, 3.5
Three
up
and a
instead
half,
of
yeah.
4. Yeah, going into last round. And our opponents were, not. They were not weak, right? They were like
Yeah.
very decent players, and they just, they understood our, our state and took advantage of it a couple of times, and then that's why we didn't win a couple of the final fours. But that's in this regard, basically it means a lot how you start the event. Like if you start well, you're gonna have some pressure taken off your shoulders at later matches. So you don't have to kick yourself mentally about, oh, why did I not win this game? I was like winning and I missed it, and now I have to win with black against someone with my rating. And it's just tough. It's just tough to to do your best when this thing is all over you.
Do you think you have more nerves towards the end of the tournament when you kind of like feel that pressure? I guess it depends on like your
Yeah, for
your
sure. For
standings.
sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, obviously, like a lot of factors go into it, but yeah, I mean, even if you're actually, yeah, if you don't have anything to lose or win or to lose or gain, I guess you just play. You don't really care. It doesn't matter. It's the end of the tournament. Actually, no. Even if it's the end of the tournament, like I was in this situation before where I just basically had a failed tournament, and then I would play the last game, and then it I really want to finish the tournament well.
Yeah.
Like even if you're not doing well, like overall, even if you're not winning much, you just really have not have to, but you would really like to finish on a good note, at least some positive, right? So even from this point of view, it's still you're still gonna feel somewhat pressured to do well in the last game.
Because I know some people they start nervous, but then as they get the hang of things, they calm down and perform better. But other people, it's like the opposite, right?
Yeah, everyone deals with stressful situations differently, right? So like I don't know, personally, I'm not sure if I'm nervous at all. Like I'm pretty sure I am, but I don't feel it. It's
You
like
got ice in your
it comes
veins.
natural. Ice in my
You're
veins,
so
I
used
guess.
to it.
That's a saying, right?
You've been a GM longer than I've been playing chess. It's crazy.
Really?
I only started
9
like
years?
10 years ago.
Oh, no, well, I've been a GM 9 years, so not
So
quite.
I thought you said okay.
2014, right?
My bad. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I started 2014?
Yeah. No, wait. No, I'm stupid. Wait. No, I'm at 2010. Wait, you're right. 2014 is okay. I'm falling asleep. All right, I'm sleeping.
I gotta wake you up.
2010.
All right,
Yeah,
we're
thanks.
gonna do some quick math questions. All right.
Yeah. I like the math apps on the phone, like the ones that throw like a lot of easy puzzles at you, like a ton of them, and then if you get like 5 correct, you get like extra time, and you keep doing them. Basically, like Puzzle Rush.
Yeah.
Puzzle Storm, I guess, in Elite Chess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you ever like put on like a chess video to like fall asleep? Because I do that like all the time. I'm sure it's different.
I put on like a random YouTube video.
Random YouTube, okay.
Yeah,
so
to fall asleep, yeah.
Well, would the chess video like keep your attention? Or I mean, I watch a lot of Chess Network. He puts me to sleep like every time. I don't know if you know.
Wouldn't say I watch that many chess channels these days. Yeah. I don't know. More poker than chess.
Poker, okay. Yeah, I know Magnus is really getting into poker.
Oh yeah, I've seen that he's doing well again, right, or something.
He's like I don't want to be the chess champion. I want to be the poker champion.
Okay, well that's fair. It's an interesting game, but it's a dangerous game as well. So it goes a lot.
I would know. You've burned me a few times at the poker table.
No, that was not serious.
Well, I mean, it was real money.
That's true. That's true. But I wasn't being serious. It's just the card is just played
Oh, okay.
that way.
I was gonna say you could. I'd gladly take the money back if.
Okay, but that's the dangerous part about it. You're probably not gonna get your money back if something goes wrong.
Yeah. I actually went to the North American Open just a few months ago in December, and I actually didn't play chess. I only played the Blitz, but it was the first time that I went to just play poker. I was just playing in like
Mm.
poker tournaments during the rounds, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right, we have a move here. I was
Or
wondering, like,
castle, the best
is
move, yeah.
Black threatening to take the knight and regain this e
But it's actually
pawn,
all working out. It's all working out for white. Like, yeah, you're regaining the pawn. You're actually
but you're
so
losing this
we
pawn?
we can go ahead and we can actually go ahead and put in the board. Bishop f3, pawn takes knight d5, c takes d5, right?
Yeah,
And then you can't
you
take
get the
on
pawn
d5
back.
because of the discovery attack on bishop takes h7,
Yep.
loses the queen, and then yeah, this just completely loses. And if knight takes f3, I believe white should probably do queen e2 or queen c2. Either one is fine, but queen e2, I mean, I would prefer queen e2 because now this leaves black with the only move option, right? Because now, well, I guess knight h4. You can argue that knight h4 is also an option, but in my mind, it isn't because knight once again doesn't belong on the edge. If you go knight e5, you lose the pawn back, right? Knight e5, bishop takes h7. Um, Relatively simple tactic. Wins the pawn into bishop h7, king h7, queen h5 with a double attack.
Yeah.
And then if knight goes to g5, it gets trapped by the pawns, right? Just h4 or f4. No, yeah, just h4 just to be sure. Yeah.
All right,
So
so
open position. White does not up anything, but open position, a strong bishop, strong center pawns. I would say white is doing great.
the Black's not going to take on f3.
I don't think if I'm not sure if there's anything better, right? If black takes on d3, I think we see black should just go ahead and take. If black takes on d3, they're down a pawn once again, with no real way of capturing it back. At least I don't see one. But yeah, if they go to if they take on f3, they're just gonna be suffering for the rest of the game. You know, maybe they survive, maybe they don't. Yeah. So okay. So let me see if there are any other
Any other games?
interesting
Oh, we
games.
have
Okay, so
results actually.
Benjamin's does have results. Okay, they have a first result.
A draw.
Raja Harshita draw. You know, they tried. They can say that they tried. H4 was
There's a
played in an
bishop
interesting
sacrifice
novelty.
here.
Yeah, they.
So what's it's a discovery. Okay, just winning the knight back.
Well, this sacrifice was good enough to make a draw, I guess. Just trades all around and draw. But yeah, I did prefer black's position actually because black had a center locked up, and bishops are not feeling well here, right? So bishop on the 4 is blocked by the pawn on e5. Bishop on g2 is blocked by pawn on g2 by pawn on d5. Oh, sorry, you're still in this position. So if you go a
Sorry.
couple moves back, move 19, queen c7, yeah. Maybe instead of queen c7, black could have tried something better, right? Queen c7 allows a draw. If black wants to try and play for the win, maybe they should. Yeah, see, it's just bishops are not doing great, and the black pawns in the center are great. White has double pawns in the e file, so it's just all in all, I would say black is doing better.
Yeah.
But yeah, queen c7
So
allowed an immediate draw. So
okay.
well, I guess easy way out for both players. First result of the tournament. All right. I guess players go on break, or these two players go on break, and we can follow the rest of the games. Dragoon versus Aparin, interesting. White is significantly down on time, and now black has taken over the initiative, which is unsurprising because once again the position is extremely dynamic, and without being equipped with a couple of engines, I would say the chance you're gonna make all the correct choices. King f1,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, that's
King f1 is interesting choice to say the least, right? The king f1, I
as
guess
opposed
trying
to
to not
You
castle,
think he
yeah.
mouse slipped?
Yeah, he mouse flipped in over the board game for sure, yeah. And he was like, "Oh,
Uh,
mouse flip, can I castle by hand?"
you, uh, yeah. Well, King F1.
H4, yeah. Yeah, so you see, like, it seems like both players are getting it okay-ish, but kind of wrong, right? So every move is a relatively big fluctuation between the well.
So you're liking Oparin. I mean, Oparin does have over twice
I
as much time as Camille.
I I like that fact a lot because position is still dynamic and like nothing is clear here, and the white square bishops are now gone from the board, which means harder. It probably means that it's gonna be harder for black to attack the white king side, but also means that it's gonna be easier for black to control the d5 outpost. So there are some advantages and disadvantages to this trade, but yeah, I guess the control over the d5 square gives black a lot to play for. And now the white knight on f3 cannot easily move away, right? Because as soon as the knight moves away, black gets g5. Black gets breakthrough with g5, so your knight has to stay. And yes, all in all, it's probably unpleasant because white doesn't have any counterplay. Black king is weak, or it looks weak, but white cannot open things up on that side of the board. Knight on a5, look at that knight on a5, the MVP, not letting b3 happen.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
saying earlier that the knight's a little awkward. And like the knight on b3 wouldn't necessarily be the best piece, but it doesn't
Mhm.
have to go to b3. It just has to prevent white from playing b3.
Exactly.
So the knight and the pawn are working in tandem together, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this king f1 move. Like that's not a normal move typically. Do you think that maybe Camille is feeling nervous? Do you think that this is like a sign of like a lack of confidence, or like is there not much to look into?
Well, no, I think it was probably just a fail, not a failed, but probably a misunderstood attempt to prepare against black's attack on the king side. It's not unusual to keep the king on f1 if you believe that you can make a good use of your h1 rook. If you're leaving your rook on h1, it likely means that you're expecting the h file to eventually get open up. So it's not that unusual. I don't see it as a sign of anything. It's just probably just a misjudged decision by Camille, thinking that it's going to be good, while in reality it isn't, because it doesn't really help him, or not. It does help him, but it shouldn't. He shouldn't have tried to go out of his way to make sure that he's not going to get like overly attacked on the king side, because the position is very dynamic. You have to like accept risks that you're going to get attacked, but at the same time you need to attack yourself. So you need to make sure knight d2 happens, b3 happens, and stuff happens on the queen side where the black king is. So I
Looks
think
like
Camille
we're
probably didn't understand how dynamic this position is, and he should be a bit more proactive when it comes to applying pressure against his opponent. Now he's going to be the one receiving the pressure.
I want to point out we have a couple more results. We have a draw between Aram and Theodoru.
That's a blissful result, I guess, all things considered.
Yeah, we were
So
looking at this game, and I know that you were saying that you liked Aram's position initially, but okay, this is a very, very
yeah, this is
weird move from
c3.
me. Like you're
Yeah.
letting this pawn be captured with check. Isn't that
Oh,
kind of
but
what you
I
have bishop?
wonder what was Aram's idea. Maybe he was just getting ready to let the pawn go, because maybe he can just move the king away, like d takes. So can we check what happens after d takes? Maybe is king h1 the move? King h1 is a move, but it's not that great, because I thought that maybe black shouldn't be taken in b2, right? Because black takes in b2, that helps white's bishop get on a long diagonal, and I thought that's kind of what Aram is trying to do, but the alternative, which is bishop e3 instead of king h1, seems to be much better.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Here I was thinking.
Yeah, and not just d4.
Okay.
And then we're gonna probably either win our pawn back immediately by taking on the 5, or we're gonna keep pushing the d pawn by playing d5. Yes, there's some options. So queen c7 just takes back on oh, not even, just rook c1, and then we can take on c3 with a rook to make sure the c file remains open.
Okay.
So
All right.
c3 was definitely interesting, and it was good enough to quote unquote scare Teodoro, or scare Nicholas into oh, Nicholas was the one who offered the draw. That's interesting. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess we can argue that black could be the one trying to win this, but white's position is safe, right? Black has some advantages, but white doesn't really have that many weaknesses. White's gonna play like king h1, bishop e3, and just keep holding their position together, and it's gonna be tough for Black to break through. So I guess that's why we see a peaceful result here, and another pair of
There's
players
so
going
much like
forward.
material left on the board. This is only like 17 moves in. Do you feel like they're drawing a little early?
Um,
Are
we
there,
could say that, but I mean, obviously, if Aram is didn't like his position, then it makes perfect sense for why he's trying to preserve. It's just quick draws are not necessarily bad, especially in team events like these. From the point of view of energy preservation, and if you're feeling uncomfortable, obviously you can like step over yourself and try to play on and try to win. But Nicholas is an extremely strong grandmaster, so like it wouldn't be easy, and who knows what would happen. So I guess Aram decided that it's probably not a bad idea to take it easy and you know look for another chance in the future games to come.
aren't there some tournaments that have rules that like you can't offer
Sophia
draw?
Rose, yeah, move 30, move 40, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is probably not one of those, yeah.
Well, clearly.
Mhm.
And we have a third draw here between
What? No way. This
Kavashvili and
position
John.
draw?
That's funny. See, I I was saying they're early, and you're
Oh
like,
no, oh no, why draw? Okay,
uh,
this one. Okay, this one. I mean, obviously, like it's easy to disagree with player's decision after you see the engine's evaluation. Um,
that's why I'm
but
saying you should play
but
on, man.
John was also okay. If I was a mistake apparently, but Black's position is still like much more preferred. Like I'm surprised to see both players actually not trying. Yeah, Bishop D8, Bishop A5 is a sound plan. It looks like Bishop E6. I would have played Bishop E6 here, and I would have just try to see what's up after Bishop E6. If White plays C4, so be it. But like I don't think White's position can ever be good. If they play C4, they get a new weakness to deal with, which is the C4 pawn. If they ever try to play B3 after they play C4, they're risking to open up the A file, and that's great news for Black. So once again, it's easy to criticize. Um, maybe we can ask John what was the reason for him accepting the draw offer at some point. But yeah, it's this would have been a chance to gain a point for Webster's team, and well, now we have a draw, which is an okay result, right? Both John and his opponent are relatively, you know, even in terms of rating, so draw is an okay result, but John had a chance.
This
He,
like
he
there's
probably
just
didn't.
so much life in these positions is what I'm trying. I mean, at least this one particularly. There's so
Yeah,
much
this one,
left to
this
be
one,
played
this one. I'm
for.
surprised. I'm really surprised to see a draw. Ram's case, I'm not that surprised because Ram probably didn't like his position very much, right? And got a
Yeah.
draw offer and was like, okay, so I'm not doing too great here. I'm probably slightly worse, and I'm playing against a good opponent, a strong opponent. So sure. Here I would be surprised to learn that John thought that his position is worse here. Like I don't think it's possible to misevaluate this position and believe that you're worse. So I'm wondering why he was hesitant to try and play on. Well, once again, I can ask him about this later when I see him. I'll probably see him tomorrow,
We
so we'll
could
figure it out.
maybe we could even do some player interviews at some
Oh,
point.
maybe, yeah, could be, yeah, could be. I
Um,
think Lim said that we can maybe get a player
yeah.
to discuss their games with us. But
Ah,
usually you get someone who
I'm
wins, right?
getting word that this game's actually still going.
Oh, it is still going. Okay, that makes a lot of sense because like what is it? What is this draw? Hmm.
All right, so it's just maybe it's a DGT misinput.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, John, you see the problem is that I know because John never offers or accepts draws. Like he just never does. He plays until the end. That's just his
That's more
that's
exciting.
just what he does. Exactly. It's just what he does, and I've played countless games against John, and I offered him draws countless times, and then he never accepted them, and we would always play on. So that's another reason for why I was so surprised to see a draw because he just plays until the end, and that's
That's
the way to do it. Actually, that's how you like. You shouldn't shy away from fighting if you wanna achieve great things.
yeah.
That's yeah. There should be a saying that should sound better than the way I just said it, but that's
No, I
no.
think the meaning is
Was there? Yeah.
yeah. So I'm glad to know that this game's still going on.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. Honestly, me too. I'm very glad to know that too.
yeah. So we'll have to try to relay that.
hmm
All right. What else should we look at? Maybe the
Let's see. Let's see. So we have yeah, Parents game still basically the same spot. Um,
maybe the
Victor
Benjamins
Benjamins. Yeah. So
or
Gleb Dudin versus Christopher. We see basically the main
oh,
line of the engine's recommendation, right? And Blackly still gonna be suffering. So we have Ratchet already drawn. We have Benjamins. Okay, Benjamins. Yeah, bishop e4 is a move here, but Benjamins are yeah, basically what I was kind of afraid of is happening. Although while White was previously almost +2 according to the engine, now White is only +0.6.
so let's
Bishop
see.
d3 was a misstep.
Hmm.
So what was the right move here? So the bishop d3, knight e4. So knight e4.
Oh, we did see this before
Yeah.
a3
So
idea, which is pretty nice.
Knight got
Knight
trapped, and then
in
knight e5 makes sense, and then bishop
it
d3. So I guess bishop did
likes
not belong.
94 or bishop e2.
And actually, the way it suggests playing for white is very aggressive. See, it offers knight e4 and then queen b3, d6, and it just offers to kind of like pressure black. And maybe this is only working because black pieces are somewhat misplaced. I feel like if black didn't have the knight on a6, this wouldn't have worked. But now it's white is just trying to develop the pieces instead of as opposed to pressuring, and this is a most logical way of playing, right? It's just I guess white's next move is probably going to be something like knight a4 and then castle, and then white is likely going to be happy while losing some of the advantage back because it's not the most not the most objectively best way of playing it. And then okay, what happens in Yuneski's game? Let me see. Did Yuneski? I mean, I'm gonna be okay. Yuneski didn't take on f6 as I predicted, and he played queen d3, right? Yeah, okay, queen d3. So he wasn't ready to play the structure after all. And then we have
What was this? Was like your 0.1% chance move,
no,
right?
no, yeah.
Or-
And then I changed my mind because I realized the queen d3 actually makes a lot more sense than I thought. Knight f5 is a big commitment, right? Big structural commitment, and if you believe that you don't want to like have two double pawns, right? It's not great. So it's fine. Queen d3 is fine, and then we see a couple of there was a4 misstep, and then we see this bishop a6, which for some reason is not great. I guess knight d2. I guess the bishop is needed on d7 because c6 is actually a weakness now, right? So the bishop will be forced to go back to d7 at some point in the future. Okay, my headset is acting up on me again, so fingers crossed.
I wasn't saying anything, but hi.
Yeah.
Yes, we have one of our collegiate chess league players and captains, Papa Pizza Chess, who is international master Ben Lee from University of Michigan in the chat.
Nice.
Michigan is going to be playing against Mizzou in the quarterfinals of the collegiate chess league playoffs. So maybe Michigan can watch some of these Mizzou games and see.
Learn something from them.
I'm sure that the opening prep between a blitz game and a classical game are a bit different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but still, you still want to get acquainted with your opponent's playstyle, right? Like it doesn't really change, with time control, I would say.
It looks like the Benjamins have a draw.
What?
That's what it's saying.
What is going on? I have a really hard time believing all these results. I'm sorry, Joe. Like I don't believe it.
You don't have to be sorry. I mean, we have evidence that one of them's wrong anyway, so.
Okay, is this one wrong too? Like, come on, there's no way.
I'm not sure. Let me see if I can ask, actually.
All these draws are making me dizzy and hungry, so I'm seriously considering just
This
taking
is.
a
Oh
small
yeah,
break. Actually,
yeah. We
no.
haven't taken any breaks yet. You want to take a quick break?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I can't really get like an entire meal in a quick break, so I can
Maybe
maybe
a
get
snack
myself
at
a cup of
least.
tea. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a
All
cup of
right.
tea. Yeah.
All
Uh-huh.
right. We'll take a quick break. But thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back in maybe like 10 or so minutes, and we'll try to
Uh-huh.
solve the draw issue. All right.
Oh, imagine it's not an issue. Imagine actually everyone drawn, everyone drew.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is the Final Four coverage, hosted by Webster, actually. My name's Joe, and I'm joined by Ilya. And
Hello.
yeah,
His cookies.
we just had a break for Ilya to get some energy back in him. Had a
Man, these
nice
cookies are
breakfast.
so good.
Yeah,
Strongly
is this a
recommended.
sponsor?
Yeah.
Is this are those Girl Scout
Sponsor of
cookies?
today's video. And I wish somebody sponsored us.
Yeah, please. If you're a cookie company and you're watching this somehow, we'll have chess and cookies. Okay. Anyways, we do have some of the games still going. Just a handful left. I see that Camille and Oparin are in this battle right now, and it looks like Camille's trying to trade off queens.
Yeah, so I think it's probably a very decent idea for Camille to try and simplify as his king's position was, deserves better. and yeah, his attempt to go into an endgame is probably correct. I've even in my whenever I teach private lessons to some of my students, I usually tell them that, if you're trying to survive, if something goes wrong in your game and you're trying to survive, typically just trading off and going into an endgame blindly doesn't do it, because in the process, while you're trading off all these pieces, you're giving your opponent some advantage, some other advantages, right? But in this case, I think it's probably a correct choice, because the alternative was likely going to be much worse, right? The king is unsafe. You have no time. You're about to get your king side ripped apart if black ever gets to play g5. So in this case, I think Camille has made a correct decision by trying to oversimplify, right? Because now g5 doesn't really accomplish much, and in the end game setting, I think it's going to be fine. So I'm not sure what's going on if black just takes on e5. I'm failing to see what's up with queen capturing on the pawn on e5.
Should we look to the analysis?
I'm still trying to figure it out. Let's see. I think the analysis is not working for me either. It never has. Yeah, some kind of like looking
even
at
the
your screen
computer
all the
doesn't
time.
know.
Yeah, the computer doesn't know. I mean, I can obviously cheat and check it myself, but okay, let's try to think about it. Queen takes e5, wins a pawn. I was hoping to get some discoveries by moving my knight away, yeah, but I'm not sure where it's gonna go. Like I could maybe I could try knight b3. So knight b3. So queen takes e. Oh, okay. Interesting. So queen takes e5 did not happen.
Okay, queen takes e5. I was wondering if we could do like this.
Oh, and the queen b3 check. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, queen b3 check. That's probably what Camille had planned, right? So knight takes f3.
I was thinking this.
Oh.
But that might be too much.
Oh my god, it's not too much. See, now the analysis is back, and actually the engine is agreeing with you. That's crazy. I did not see bishop before. It's a very nice intermediate move. Now forces black to go queen c5, right?
Yeah, queen c5.
And now queen b3. Obviously not trading queens because you're down the pawn, so you're just still looking to keep those pieces on the board. Now, as white, we are the ones attacking. We are the ones that knock. For all those who watch Breaking Bad, actually, my roommate and I have just picked it up.
Say Camille's name. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Say Camille's name. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so hmm.
okay, so Queen takes d5 did not happen because of this amazing idea found by no other than Joe himself, and I guess that's why Black has made a correct decision by playing Rook d8. So the end game is happening, but it's happening in a way that Black is gonna have full control over the d file. I'm not sure how bad it is for White. So if let's say White just takes and captures in d5, Queen takes d5, Rook takes d5, obviously not pawn. Yeah, Rook takes d5, Knight c4. Yeah, see the engine does say that the Black is slightly better, but it's not critical, right? So this advantage is not critical. Plus, Black has a slight inconvenience. The h6 pawn is under attack. Black would love to get the other rook over to d file, but they can't because the h pawn is hanging. So I think the move h5 is I wouldn't be surprised to see h5 being played
I do want to
here.
mention that the clock disparities, this might be the biggest difference in time.
Yeah, it is probably. I mean, yeah, Camille is also one of those people who kind of struggle a little bit with time management. I see most of his games happen exactly in this exact way where he finds himself in time trouble by move 30, 35. Here it seems to have happened even sooner. But let's see, maybe he'll still survive, right? He is going to be having to defend this unpleasant endgame for a while. So let's see. Is there any other interesting spots that we have? Let's see. Obviously, Antipov's game. Mihail Antipov's game against Viktor Gazik is very unclear. I discussed this position with my roommate a little bit when I went downstairs to pick up the cookies, and we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening, and my roommate believes that the players themselves do not know what's happening.
Do you wanna?
The ancient,
Who's the roommate? Is that
my
known?
roommate is Grandmaster Danish Boros. Yeah, of
Danish.
course. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Danish
so
is my roommate. Yeah, we've been living together. Actually, my Danish was my very first roommate at Webster. So we
wow.
were we were roommates for 2 years. My first 2 years at Webster, Danish and I were roommates. And now what is it? 8 years late. Yeah, like 7 years later, we're roommates yet again.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably we're gonna be roommates for 2 years again, believe it or not. Yeah.
so
So that's
so he's helping with the snack distribution.
I'm helping with snacks
Oh, okay.
distribution. Uh, I mean, I'm pretty sure he could help me if I asked him, but I
Like
I
Danish, we
don't
need.
see.
We'll
Yeah.
just tell him in the chat, and then he'll come with the
Oh, I'm not
cookies.
even sure if he's in the chat. He
Ah,
was watching someone else, I think.
uh,
Last time I've seen him.
who else could he be watching right now?
Oh, he watches like a lot of stuff. He watches all kinds of chess streamers, video game streamers. He is full-time Twitch guy, I would say.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Full-time Twitch viewer, sometimes full-time Twitch viewer, sometimes full-time Twitch streamer. I'm not sure which one is predominant at this point, but yeah, he streams quite often as well on our Chess Veep channel. Okay, so yeah, this game is unclear. So Black has opened up the F file. I caught myself wanting to say Black is up a pawn, but I quickly realized I was wrong. Black is not up a pawn. But at the same time, White has a really strong knight on d5. Once again, the knight on an outpost, which is defended, right? Defended by a lot of pieces, supported by another knight, which means actually the c3 knight supporting the d5 knight is probably the most important defender because it ensures that if Black ever captures in d5, it can replace the knight with another knight. So yeah, that makes the knight on d5 all the more annoying to deal with. And as we see, the engine is suggesting the move knight f4, I presume, to help Black deal with the knight on d5, right? So the move knight f4 kind of like offers a trade, saying, "Oh, you want to take my knight with your knight?" White's going to respond, "Well, no, probably not. I probably want to keep the knights on the board because they're so amazing, so I'm going to take back with a bishop." And bishop captures f4, he takes f4, h4. I don't know what is going on. I'm not sure why White is better there. White has decently placed pieces, but Black has, if you trade on a 4, Black is going to have a pass pawn, and then file Black has relatively active pieces, and Black has a bishop pair, which is even more important in my case because I love bishop pairs. Like I absolutely adore bishop pairs. They can do amazing things when you know how to use them. So I wouldn't be that fast to say that I agree with Angie's evaluation in this one. So that's my take.
Okay.
But yeah, this is anything but easy. And yeah, we have a couple of exciting positions where, you know, it's not very clear whether
Yeah.
you know both sides will realize what is going on. And okay, so we have some
Victor's
some-
also less than 5 minutes compared to 26 minutes for Antipov, which is kind of incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, you see, this is why time management in these tournaments is so important. That's why I love playing these events with no sudden deaths. This is where I excel, I would say, because people like most people have really hard time managing really a lot of difficulties managing their time during a game, and it seems that you can never flag because you always got that 30 seconds extra incoming, but you can never be sure because it's all position depending, right? Position dependent. If you find yourself in a tricky position where you need time to calculate, you will flag.
Yeah.
Like you will, or you will blunder and you'll
Yeah.
lose regardless.
You'll miss something. It's hard to calculate in time pressure.
Exactly. This is one of those positions I would say that where you need that extra time, to give yourself room for error.
Ooh.
And yeah, John's game is interesting. Now we have
we got the moves back.
We got the moves back, but it doesn't seem like John has been very accurate in his attempts to to attack. He did not find the bishop d8, bishop a5, bishop b6 idea. Instead he played rook c6. Right, it was bishop d8.
Yeah, we did see
the bishop.
Your bishop e6
yeah, was
idea
very
as well as c4.
I was expecting.
Rook left.
And here Black
could have
apparently Black is just winning by 4s, which did not happen once again because John did not find bishop d8. See, even here, if he just finds b takes a2 and then bishop d8, he might have had a critical advantage. Yeah.
I feel like bishop takes a2 seems like such a
b takes a2. Yeah, it's natural, but you at the same time you don't want to give your opponent a perfect shield against your attack, right? Because most of the time, like these pawns, the pawns you get to the second ranks, they're used as a shield by your opponent's king. Like you see this plenty of times in some Sicilian variations where if Black wants to defend against attacks, they go like h5, White takes en passant gh, and then Black goes g6, and then that h6 pawn becomes a shield for the Black king. So like kind of a similar idea here. This is why I guess a3 trying to like breach Black's position open, and yeah. So you see that John, it looks like John is losing the thread of the attack because like he's not getting something immediately, and looks like he's might be even getting impatient, right? Because now bishop d8 is no longer as strong as White has b4, which transposes into the endgame. So bishop d8 b4, if Black ever takes him before the queens go off the board, and White's king is no longer in a grave danger as it used to be a couple of moves back. So I would say Black, John had a chance. John had a critical moment, right? The moment where he played b3, and where he could have found b takes a2 and bishop d8 idea. He did spend a reasonable amount of time. No, actually, no, he did. No, he played a3 rather quickly, right? He spent like a minute, right? A minute and a half for a3.
Yeah, this is a 2-minute move here.
Apparently. 2-minute move, okay. 2-minute move, okay. Yeah, so maybe this was a critical moment.
20 minutes.
But I understand his, his decision to try and play this faster because like, both him and his opponents are so low in time, especially in a position like this where pieces are going to start flying anytime now. So maybe he thought that he can. Maybe he thought that he can, do it pretty much anyway. But I'm afraid it's probably not the case. So let's hope that he can still find a way to keep the attack going. I think f5 is not going to happen. Like there's zero chance f5 as a move is gonna happen in the game. Because it does nothing, right? It just seems like it does nothing. It's a first recommendation of the engine, but it has no idea behind it because it's not really threatening to take on e4, as White can simply recapture back. So I think f5 is very, very unlikely to happen. Bishop d8 is more likely, but then bishop d8 b4, and Black might have to go into the endgame, which is just slightly tiny bit better for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think like John considered bishop d8 earlier or
I'm not
just
sure,
missed
yeah,
it?
because I feel like he just missed it. He just missed the idea as a whole, probably, or maybe he did consider it, but didn't like something. Is there
It's not the
something we are
most
not
natural
seeing?
move, right? A retreating move, but it does reroute the bishop
It
to.
does reroute the bishop to. You need like an additional attack, right? Because you already have 3 attackers. I guess 4 if you count in the bishop on e6. So you still have 2 pieces that are not participating: the knight on h5 and the bishop on e7. You can't really bring the knight on h5 in, but you can like think about the bishop on e7, and that's yeah. I do discuss topics of understanding and improving your worst piece
Yeah.
in my lessons. Very important, right? Because in situations like this, it's just the difference between you winning the game. John may still win, hopefully he does, but you know, it's not guaranteed. And if you had he found the bishop d8 plant, he would probably won easier. Okay. Let's see. Any new developments? So Camille's game against Grigori has seen some new development. Also, Camille played rook h3. And
All right, sorry. Camille's game
yeah,
looks
played
like
rook h3.
yep, rook h3. So this was the master plan of king f1, right?
Yeah, just get the rook in through the h
Through
file.
h3.
Yeah. Otherwise, the rook is just completely pointless on h1. So yeah.
Okay, so does the rook maybe want to go to b3 at some point? Like, I guess we have to distract the knight.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's gonna be possible. I mean, White may at some point pivot towards attacking as opposed to like trying to trade pieces and defend the endgame. I think it's not like we saw these ideas in the line where Black takes on e5, right? So like earlier line where Black took on e5, White was able to just counterattack the Black king on the queen side, and it worked out. And I think this position is probably no exception. Like if Black takes on e5, I think there's a whole bunch of different ways for White to bring in the pieces towards the queen side, especially now as the rook is on h3. I guess knight b3 is probably one of the most straightforward ways. I'm not sure how Black defends there. Like looks so scary for Black now.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah.
king is a bit exposed on b7 there.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even gonna be surprised to see Black just straight up taking on c4 and just
Yeah, trade-off.
that's not I don't think that in game is winnable though for Black, because like White doesn't have issues anymore. Or most of the White's issues are now gone after the queen trade. Plus the rook on h3 makes perfect sense as it's coming to d3. So it's I think I mean this might actually be one of those unfortunate cases for Grigori where you want to keep pressure going, like you want to keep things unclear because your opponent is clearly going to be struggling in the time pressure, but you can't because if you do so, you're gonna get yourself killed, kind of, in chess terms, obviously.
Yeah.
Um.
That's good. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
We're not talking
So
about checkers, right?
no, never checkers.
Never. All right. Did you want to look at another game?
Christopher, yeah, Gleb Dudin versus Christopher Repka. We have the move b5, an aggressive take, and Gleb he's struggling in terms of time management. Now his position is better,
We
but now
did
he's
see
starting to struggle.
this knight takes f3 move, and instead of
We
queen
basically see
e2, we saw queen c2.
Queen c2, which is objectively better because it,
Just attacks.
battery, yeah. And if you ever start the attack, it actually makes more sense to have the queen on c2. So yeah, you see, we basically okay. So we've seen some inaccuracies. Oh, we've seen a lot of inaccuracies from Gleb. All right. So we've seen a bunch of preparing moves that I don't think king a1 is necessary, because like why do we play king a1 if you're ever concerned about our king's safety, we need to make sure the king is like hiding in the corner. But I think this is not one of those cases, right? Black just doesn't have enough pieces on the queen side. Plus Black doesn't have anything on the diagonal. Like we have a perfect battery set up on that diagonal, so we probably don't care about the king hiding.
Club's down to
we can
2.5 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah. Finally enough, the king e2 is best. I think rook d4 is gonna happen. Rook d4 is very logical. Just kicking the queen away from strong position, getting your rook active. Maybe this allows a rook to get rearranged somewhere in the fourth rank as well. So rook d4 makes perfect sense. King a2 is likely not gonna happen because nobody wants to play king a1 and the 2 moves later play king a2. It's like the direct. Basically, you're admitting that you screwed up, and it's tough, especially when you're low on time. Like you're not gonna be looking for. You're gonna look for something more concrete, not king a2. I think. So rook d4 is likely, and then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Gleb. The fact that Gleb is spending so much time in a position where maybe it's fair, honestly. Maybe now as I'm thinking about it, he needed to be like really active, really aggressive. But because he didn't have time to realize that now he's once again it always comes back to time management issues, guys.
Just
Manage
play
your time
quick.
well.
Play quick.
Real life and chess should teach you how to do that. Also, actually, I know a couple of people who are really good, time
Speed
time
chess,
managers. Oh, there you go, rook
but
d4.
procrastinators.
Procrastinators.
Oh.
That's me. I'm a procrastinator in real life, but I'm pretty good with time management in chess. So yeah.
Gleb's clock just added like 3 minutes. So
Oh, that's a good increment.
that's a
If,
pretty
if
big
you could-
increment, yeah.
Yeah, if you could get, I know in shogi, in Japanese chess, they play it so that you have certain set time. Like let's say you have an hour, and then once you use up that hour, you have like 1 minute to make each move, and then if you don't, you lose. So they don't use the same clock system as us, or maybe I'm that's honestly that's I've seen it in an anime.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not sure if it's true. I'm not sure if it's true. Yeah. There's a shogi anime. I think it's called Shion and King. Right? It's called Shion no Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, no, it's translated differently. It's from Japanese to English. It's translated. No, and it should be translated Shion's King. Yeah. Anyway, that's the way they played shogi in that show. I mean, it made sense, but I should probably do more research before telling people that that's how it is. Okay, shogi
I
time
haven't played.
control.
Is there a shogi.com
There's boardgamegeek.com.
or Board Game Geek?
Okay, no, it's just some forum stuff. Wait, I mean, 2008. No. The timing method. Wait, so game for okay, wait. Okay, chess. Okay, so Byu-yomi. This timing method is also used in shogi. The term literally means counting the seconds on more generic countdown. After the main time, after the main time is depleted, the player has a certain number of periods, for example, 5 periods, each of 30 seconds. If a move is completed before the time expires, the time period resets and restarts the next turn. There you go. Yay! They didn't lie in the show. Hooray!
Wow, they did their research.
Yeah, they did their research. Yeah. It's an amazing show. Yeah, one of the very few chess-related anime out there.
Wait, it's chess.
Strongly recommended. Yeah, it's shogi. Well, it's technically it's Japanese chess, right? I mean, they have similar pieces. They have
Wait,
knights, they have rooks.
shogi is Japanese chess?
Yeah. It's like Crazy House. They have like silver generals, gold generals, bishops, knights, rooks.
I've heard of Chinese chess. I didn't know there was
well,
Japanese chess.
Chinese chess it's just it's called shogi. Yeah. It's Crazy House. It's fun, but it's like it's so difficult to checkmate in that game. It's just so unbelievably tough to checkmate. It's just when you think you got the king, it's like it just slips away. It's just and it's Crazy House. So you capture the piece, you can use it. You capture the piece, you can use it, and you promote, and like the the last 3 ranks, not on the last rank. You promote in the last 3 ranks. Your pieces get promoted. Your pieces get promoted, and they gain new abilities when the piece is promoted. It's fun. Anyway, let's see what else do we have here. We have Grigory Oparin actually taking on e5, and I'm surprised to see this because I thought that taking on e5 was not. Yeah, exactly. See, and that's what I was telling you, Joe. That the taking on e5. Oh, okay. Wait. You were the one who found the f3. Why am I taking? Why am I trying to take credit from you? Sorry.
It likes rook c3 first, maybe. But okay, he played rook e1.
And then queen c5 is gonna like force a queen trade now. So
Let's
white is gonna
see.
be down a
Yeah,
pawn, but white can still survive.
You did mention knight b3.
Knight b3, yeah.
Which
Then
I
knight
liked.
f3. That's crazy. Knight f3.
But okay,
It's funny that knight b3. Did you see the line? Did you see the line that Ancient recommended after knight b3? Knight b3, knight f3, knight d2.
Wait, knight f3 here? What? I guess
yeah. Okay,
attacking
so
the
that's
rook.
why. That's because if you
Knight
take you can take on d8 because queen e1 mate. Yeah, knight d2 just a draw. So yeah, Camille had to find rook c3, but once again, he is time pressure and everything, so it's tough. Rook e1 is a safer choice, but you might have to play down a pawn for a while. Let's see. So we are quickly approaching the point where everyone is in time pressure.
Yeah.
We have
5 games left.
We have 5 games left. Yeah, 5 games. Is it 5 games? 1, 2.
Well, I just see 3 results.
5 games. Yeah. 5 games. You're right. Okay, this I like this for black, and Akshat is in a lot of pain, due to his time mismanagement.
Yeah, it's probably the clocks are wrong. I'm just gonna guess.
No, I'm not. I would guess that the clock is not wrong.
Really? You think he just flagged?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, no, he didn't flag, but I would say that I would totally believe it that he's playing on
30,
increment.
33
he's
seconds.
playing on increment.
Okay.
No, this position is lost. This position is strategically lost because white knight is getting to c5. The rooks get traded. White gets full control over the e file. Rook on a8 becomes completely stuck because it has to keep defending the e4, and this is just it's just over. Like this game is over.
Wow.
And black has no time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be, ignorant or arrogant and say that white has already won this game. There's still a lot of work to be done if you're playing this as white. But I think that this position is not holdable under normal circumstances if you're playing this as black. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because you just have too many problems. You have no time. It's so easy to miss stuff. It's the worst dream come true. It's a nightmare. Playing this kind of position is a nightmare. It says plus 0.12 only, but I would say it's probably +3. Like in my mind, this is just it's hopeless. You have no counterplay, and you have issues you can't solve.
Yeah, no time.
No, that's just some extra. It would have been oh my god, what happened in Antipop's game? You see this? I think we have a blunder in Antipop's game.
Your knight takes h7. Check. What?
No, honestly I thought black blunder because obviously I don't see the engine's evaluation.
So, we have a knight sacrifice here. Knight f6. So we do end up seeing that with the rook on g1.
And then the award for the most insane draw goes to if white plays knight fd5 and black goes king g8 and the accepted draw. So had white not taken on h7, right? Had white moved the knight back to d5, and then black goes back king g8 and we have a draw. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think I've ever seen a draw like this before.
Wait, okay, so knight h7. What's so wrong with this move? It likes the move b4.
It's just the knight is just so off, and white is forgetting about their own king's safety, and the b4 is coming in hot.
Is there like a king g6 idea? I don't know. I guess there's knight f8 check. That's interesting.
I think the king is going to go to e8. I think the king is going to hide in the middle of the board, And black is just gonna go like ballistic on the queen side after b4,
Because I'm
and the king is gonna
thinking,
be stiff.
like, if given another move here, white would take the knight, no, and then play
And then rook
G6?
c3, and then you're just probably losing because rook f to c3,
Oh,
and then now black has all the pieces near the king. Like
okay.
you're going to go down. Like g6, king e8, and I'm hiding. Or king g8 even. Like I think, yeah, both are fine.
Okay. Well, yeah, that'll be a huge swing for Viktor Gajic if he could find this. He is in
But
some
he has 1
time
minute.
pressure, yeah.
1 minute. Ah, it's so painful to see all these time pressures. Okay, and why? So my question is, why am I not seeing the engine's evaluation like at all? Like it doesn't exist for me.
I
It's
don't know.
there. Oh well.
Okay.
John's game is getting out of hand. Like I don't know what is going on in John's game here.
And they both have significant time, so no
Yeah, but why is
scrambles.
up a pawn now? Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so black missed their opportunity earlier.
And then the initiative overtake is happening, it seems. Because why
So we
does
did have
one...
bishop d8, right? And we did see
Yeah,
this.
bishop d8. It was basically like out of spite, I guess. Just nothing to do, right? You have to improve somehow. So you start looking for moves that improve your position, however slightly. And I guess bishop d8 was just there. It was just nothing else.
This seems scary though for white. Like you have your queen and king lined up, both rooks on the same file, and we could see some trades on c5.
But at the same time, I think if white, because white is, if you take on c5, which you probably should, d takes c5, b takes c5, white has a perfectly placed rook on b2, and the c5 is defended just enough, right? So white's next move is going to be rook h to b1, I think, right? And yes, it's likely white's going to lose the c5, but it's not like the king is in that much of a danger as it used to be, right? Because it can always move to d2. It's unpleasant. Yeah, it's unpleasant. That's probably why the engine says it's black is slightly better. But you see, it's not. White is no longer getting mated because
Yeah.
they have pieces where they need to be.
Yeah. Still unpleasant, like especially if you compare like king safety. So there's still some chess left to be played. John does have about twice as much time as Robbie, but like you said, Robbie's definitely a lot safer now than they were. So it's not gonna finish soon.
Okay, so Gazik did not find before the move bishop b6 and ended up being played, and then after g6, king g8, which is a strong move somehow.
Let's see. Pawn push. Why can't we take this? Oh, there's a fork.
It's so g5 fork, yeah.
Yeah, this is a clearance tactic. Basically.
And now the strongest move here is to take on a 4, which is a really, really tough move to make. Bishop takes a 4, basically sacrifices material, and it's you really have to calculate this through. Because if you just take on b6, you're not losing, but you're just worse. So like you know, black has great piece setup, right? They have a rook on f3, they have a rook on c8, your c3 knight is feeling uncomfortable, your knight on h7 is pointless. It's trying to come to g5, but white is missing a tempo, right? White's knight is trying to come to g5, but they can't, because everything is always hanging in white's position. That's a problem. That's a problem in Sicilian defense. That's a problem I had with Sicilian defense when I used to play it myself. I still do sometimes. But it's still dynamics that... Okay, he finds bishop f4. Wow, that's amazing. So he finds bishop f4.
Well, because the knight's... Oh, okay. The knight was defending this bishop, right? I think knight comes here with tempo, which is strong.
No, I think the idea is to just take on d6. So just if bishop takes g1, so if our rook gets captured, then queen d6 just wins, because queen d6, queen d8. So black actually cannot move the bishop away from b6 because they need the defender for the d8 square. That's kind of cool, right? So that's why the g1 rook is invulnerable right now, and black should just take on c3. In fact, if they take anything else other than the c3 knight, then white just picks up the pawn on d6, and white is much better.
Okay.
Let's see. Will Gazik find the critical rook? He does find rook f to c3. Good for him.
Okay.
Now queen d6 is a forced draw. That's gonna be entertaining. Let's see, how does it draw? Queen takes d6, bishop takes b3, c takes b3, Queen takes e4. Oh my god, this one. Queen takes e4, king a1, queen takes
Hold
f4.
on, hold on,
Actually,
hold on. I'm putting it on the board.
c takes b3, queen takes e4 check, king a1, and then anything else, anything here is a draw. See, like literally like any move. Yeah, queen takes f4 is the most logical, but then yeah, this is so scary. You can easily lose this from either side in time pressure.
No,
Yeah,
this is
rook c1. Yeah, rook c1 is a draw. Okay, well that's okay. Yeah, but well, white has no choice, right? So at this point, white has already committed to taking on d6 because yeah, if in this position white doesn't take, then what else does he do? Right? Because two pieces are hanging. Rook g3, I guess, could have been it, but yeah, rook g3, just bishop d4, and white is a toast. And queen d6, yeah, queen d6. Once again, if I'm white, I'm not a big fan of this, but it is what it is. We might be seeing a delay, I guess, a delay decision by Mikhail Antipov. Should be coming through any moment now. Or that's what I'm expecting, because everything else just seems straight up bad, unless he can manage to find some hidden trick that we're missing. And so other games, what do we have in other games? We have Grigori Oparin playing queen d5, which was
whoops.
slightly less accurate than queen c5, I believe. It's
Huh.
still okay. You have white's clock showing zeros. Not
So
shouldn't
Oparin
be the
just
case.
he just snagged that pawn, huh?
Yeah, he snagged the pawn. I'm gonna trade, but the pawn e6 is
It's
it's a
weak.
pawn that has it has issues getting pushed up, so
So
it's
like
not gonna be easy.
if the queen trade, you can't take with the pawn because you lose the bishop.
Exactly,
So you have
yeah.
to take with the rook, and
Uh-huh.
then if we can kick this knight out, the e pawn will fall.
Something like that, yeah. But then with the rook on d5, it's actually makes it easier for black to play e5. So maybe we shouldn't take
Yeah.
for this reason.
Okay.
You see, rook c3 is
So
preferred way.
okay, doubling the rook somewhere. I was also thinking here, but then there'd be this trade and probably like knight here.
Bishop h4. Yeah, bishop h4 is also always there. So we should remember that the h4 pawn is also
yeah,
hanging.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it does like rook c3.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Rook c3, yeah, it's a tough move to make because once again h3 is hanging. So we're gonna have to deal with the fact that we're likely losing the second pawn. That's probably why he's deep in thought.
he's he's in negative time right now.
Yeah, deep in thought and going into negatives. Yeah.
All right.
Iniesky is pressuring hard, and somehow Iniesky has missed the unexpected counterplay, right? So queen b4 looks like white is just ready to collect free things. You know, it's New Year's early today, queen b4, queen b7, and then the queen feasts. But sudden counterplay was h5, right? h5, h4, and yeah, I feel like white might need to be bringing their pieces back, because
Let's if Chandra can find it. There it is.
there you go, h5. Okay, next to queen d2 is preferred way. Yeah, well, I guess that's why Akshat is very, very resourceful, and even in deepest time troubles, he is always looking for those tricks, and he finds them most of the time.
Oh, so the queen goes back to d2. What exactly is the issue with queen b7?
I guess it's a bit too scary to allow the pawn breaks from the king.
Like
So
h4,
rook h8,
really?
h4. Yeah.
The rook goes to the h file.
And then you get double pieces on the h file. It looks extremely unpleasant. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's that. Was queen d2 already played?
Queen d2 is on the board.
Okay, awesome.
A defensive move.
I still am not seeing a move from Mikhail Antipov. He's still thinking. Kamil Dragun is still thinking into negatives. Gleb Dudin is, I wouldn't go as far as to say he's in trouble, but his opponent is actually now going on the offensive, and it's not exactly the best way of playing it, honestly. Like, maybe his opponent is just going all in. Yeah, because Glab has very little time left, but it's once again it's a double-edged sword. Maybe Christopher just didn't manage to find anything better than this plan, like a5 b4, I assume. But yeah, any other move other than b4 is significantly worse here for black. I guess it's the same problem, right? If black hesitates, now black has invested by pushing those pawns up. Now if black starts hesitating, then you know, all these weaknesses, all these weak pawns black is creating for himself, it's just gonna, they're gonna suffer. So b4 needs to be played. Queen b6, if queen b6 aka hesitation, then we have rook c1, and then the c file becomes an issue, and then queens come into c5 and all that good stuff. Okay, Mikhail is finally taking on d6. That's good to see. And Gazik immediately responding with bishop captures b3. So we are going into this crazy main line. Let's see.
So yeah,
Let's
check,
see
take, queen takes, bishop takes.
Uh-huh.
And now you're expecting c takes.
Uh-huh.
So
Let's see which one of them missteps first. Maybe both of them will not misstep. Maybe they'll just have a
They
perfect
just
draw.
find the draw.
I mean, it's tough. Like, this is not easy. Pieces are flying. Let's see.
You have to take. Mikhail. How many of these players have you played against? All of them?
Let's see.
Probably.
No, not all of them. So Mikhail, I played Mikhail. I played Grigory Oparin. I played Kamil Dragun. I did not play Gazik. I did not play Viktor Gazik. I played Christopher Repka. I played Gleb Dudin. Did not play Harshit Raja. I did play Irakli Biradze. So I'm missing two.
Oh, we have our
now.
first decisive result. We have resignation. Looks like.
Oh no! That's heartbreaking. By the way.
Queen takes, rook takes, knight here.
Blunder in one. Speaking of heartbreaks and time pressures and time troubles, this is exactly it, right?
Is the knight trapped? Oh, you're... Wait.
Can't go because rook d1. The rook is trapped. The rook cannot take on e6 because you lose to rook d1, rook e1. Yep.
Rook e1.
Very unfortunate blunder. That endgame wasn't pleasant, but it was holdable. It was definitely holdable.
Is it time pressure blunder?
Time pressure blunder. Yeah, I mean, or just a blunder.
So knight b3, knight
he had 1
c2.
minute. 1 minute on the clock. Knight c2 came in immediately because obviously nothing to think about.
You just lose
take
the
rook. Yeah.
All right.
And then the pawn. Okay, you're down the pawn as well. So.
Okay, so that's a point for Mizzou. That's the first decisive result.
Yeah, well, that's not, it's not unexpected, but not the way I wouldn't expect. I didn't expect White to lose this way, but that's once again just shows how important it is to keep yourself,
with
give
significant
yourself
time.
a little bit of leeway. Yeah. Okay, so we have interesting position in Victor's game. White has only one move, which is to take. This is a draw. Okay, I see a draw. Okay.
I do want to remind the viewers, someone's asking which colleges are these. This is Mizzou versus University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. And we have another matchup, SLU, St. Louis University versus Webster University. And this is the Final Four. These are the top 4 teams from Pan Ams that happened earlier this year in January. And this is basically the Final Four. This is a version of like the championship for USCF, also known as the President's Cup. This is round 1 out of 3. It's a round robin, and Mizzou has taken the first point with Oparin's win.
Looks like this one is going to be a draw because Queen b6 leads to a forced draw, right? Queen b6, rook c1, and White cannot avoid the perpetual check. Yeah, so here it takes king a1, takes, and now queen takes b6 is the only move because the bishop is way too annoying to not take it. And And we have Perpetua after rook c1.
Yep.
Yeah, no queen e5.
So just to show the
So
line, takes
Mhm.
and check, takes.
no,
Oh,
don't take, don't
queen
take. Queen
e5.
e5 is very
Queen e5.
important. Queen e5. No, that's d4. We need
Oh,
e5. That's
sorry,
d4.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like blundering everything.
Yeah,
Here,
queen e5. Mhm. Now king, wherever the king goes, here we check from e2. If it goes to b1, we check from e4. If it goes to b2, we check from e5. This is why it's essential to keep the rook on c8 so the king doesn't run off through the c file.
okay. All right. So I see your roommate is telling us to look at the Burke game.
Oh, whoa, what happened there? Oh no, John is what?
All right,
Oh
so
no.
where were we? We saw c5, the trade, queen to the a file, rook left
John
covering
took-
a5,
Uh-huh.
doubling on the a file, rooks double on the b file, check,
Everything makes
block,
sense so far.
check, runs bishop here,
Uh-huh.
looks very spicy, exchange sacrifice,
Oh no, yeah,
rook
Black
trade,
taking the wrong rook because
but
now
yeah, not taking here, right?
yeah, no, it's
Allowing
some engine
this.
specific
So
probably,
king
yeah.
here, queen moves, defending the rook.
And then apparently this position is just good for white if they go into the endgame after
Takes,
queen d4, rook
takes.
d4.
And
Because the pawn on c5 is so strong and that knight on h5 is just so out of place, right? But also white has a bishop pair. Like I cannot stress enough how important it is to have a bishop pair, especially in the endgames.
if there's two things to take away today, it's the value of the bishop pair and time
Yeah.
management.
Yes, pretty much.
If
pretty
you have
much.
both of those, you're in good shape.
God, you're God. You can't be beat. We have a draw, and then Tipo's game, it's basically official because we've entered the line, and yeah, the game's game over. This match is gonna end in a draw, and then we have that's two draws and then one win for Mizzou, and then we also have Repcop battling Gleb Dudin, and Repka is actually losing now. So does it mean Repka is in Mizzou, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it probably means that if Dudin wins, it probably means that the match is gonna be a tie 2-2. But obviously
So
there's
where
no
did Repka
guarantee.
go wrong? It hates rook to f8.
Yeah, it's just too passive. You're committing yourself to attacking, right? And that's why.
And he gives up a pawn here.
He takes it back
trade
immediately,
for f2.
but the bishop on b5 is now a monster. The bishop is taking care of everything, and the a5 is following, c7 is following. So it's not just about black, mismanaging their attack. It's also about black keeping, leaving all these weaknesses for themselves and not being able to help themselves fix them, right? So
Queen here.
probably just gonna queen takes c7, queen takes a5, queen takes c5, maybe just d6, d7. Actually, there's not much black can do. It's just white is just gonna go, and black doesn't have counterplay, right? Yeah. The king is saying now suddenly, all of a sudden, the king on e1 makes perfect sense, and then the bishop in b5 and pawn on e4, everything just kind of like comes together for white. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so
there's some
this is
decisive
still not all.
results.
Yeah, a couple of decisive results. We have something happened in John's game. Okay, so we see a lot of missteps from both sides. So John's opponent did not take the queen on b4, and then he didn't take on c3 with a knight. Okay, this is just like a clown fiesta, a little bit of well, sorry, poor choice of words here, but we see a lot of inaccuracy from both sides and time pressure, which is not unusual. And then we see black being slightly better, which I'm not entirely sure I agree with, but all in all, I think probably it's going to be a draw because it's really tough to win this as black. Yeah, white's defensive capabilities are way too immense, and then Yaneski's game is getting a little bit tricky, right? We have Akshat battling and trying his very best to find all kinds of tricks. I've seen a shot win like even more ridiculous positions, but you know if Uneski missteps and like you know misjudges the attack somewhere, it can get unpleasant. Here I see black trying to play G4, H4 is a little bit you
Whoa,
know
what's the
making
move
me a little bit,
G4?
and then to play H4 and like Queen H8 even I think and just try to
Oh,
checkmate or
black's
something.
turn. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense. Whoa.
Bishop C8 was played, which is losing by force after Queen B2, and Queen B2, Queen D2 is not something that can be easily seen, I'm afraid. Queen C2 on the other hand, so after Bishop C8, Queen C2 check, Bishop F5, Queen B2 makes a lot more sense to me. I think this is what's probably what's going to happen. So Queen C2 check, Bishop F5, Queen B2, because we want to make sure the F file is closed. So according to the engine, Queen B2 is the correct way, but then there is Rook F1, right? So if we go to B2 immediately, the F file is not closed, so black can go Rook F1 and apply pressure against the F2 pawn. So yeah, we'll see. The move is still not being made. Get rid of this.
Why is it like it likes Queen D2 after that?
Okay, so it's official. Gleb won. So Gleb won his game. It means that the result of the match between UTRGV and Mizu is 2-2, which is a draw.
Yep.
Great news for Webster now, as Webster has all the winning chances. Even John has a winning chance now because for some reason his opponent decided to give up his only strengths, right? Not the only strengths, but one of his strengths, which is the pass pawn, right? So I'm now liking John's chances quite a bit. He no longer has a pass pawn to worry about. And all of a sudden, knight on h5 actually is becoming somewhat useful because it's applying pressure against f4. So yeah, really liking this for John. Let's see if he can you know do something with his advantage here. But once again, it's all like immense time pressure on both of these two boards. So let's go ahead and see which, if not both boards, or who can convert their advantage. And hopefully it's both, but
Yeah,
if
Webster
even
and
one
Sloot.
board converts, yeah.
This is I mean, this is a big matchup. I don't know what determines the order of the matchup, right, in this round robin, but I mean, maybe it has to do with the seeding of the Pan Am results, but I do know that
pretty sure
Webster won the Pan Am tournament, and Slew's like always one of the strongest teams. But yeah, I don't know also like who's playing who next round.
I checked the pairing, but let's see. So I think that I'm not sure. I'm not gonna make guesses, but
Yeah.
I've seen the pairing. It's just
Well, it's a 50-50 after
remember. Yeah, I can just flip. I can flip a coin. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll guess it. Yeah.
Those will be the last two rounds. But okay. Looks
Okay,
like
so Uneski has a forced win, right? So after Queen B2, it's yeah, it's not easy to see though. Yeah, that's
let's see. What did we
problem.
see? This was a blunder. Rook attacks the bishop, which I feel like that makes sense. Queen's just defending this pawn.
No,
I
this makes
guess
sense because
could've gone
yeah, they're threatening Rook E1 also. So I think Rook E1 is a bigger threat. So the threat Rook E1 is so strong because we are essentially making sure that our king is safe forever and that Rook is not on the A file anymore, so we can just go ahead and promote. And I think
Yep.
that's the biggest threat that we have. And here, yes, this is just over after Rook E1. Let's see if Uneski can realize that Rook E1 and the Rook doesn't have anywhere to go. It can go to A3, but it gets trapped because Queen B2, right? So the Rook is gonna get trapped. Probably. No, wait. Rook E5. Wait, what? Rook A3.
Oh,
No, Rook E1 is actually not best. I thought I'm smart, but I'm not. All right. Well, I'm not smart. Never mind. Okay. I don't see a win, so I'm checking Rook E1, Rook A3, Queen B2, Queen Rook A5.
Well, he's played Rook E1. Maybe we'll see it. There's not a lot of time left in this game.
Rook A1. Wait, what isn't? Why? How is this not winning? Like I'm checking this line. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, so I was looking at this line by myself. So this is this crazy line, Queen B2 now, right? Queen B2, Rook A5, Rook A1. rook b5 and queen takes b5. I was just thinking to myself, like, why can't we just, like take and then a7? But then there's queen d4, and then we have double attack. So queen takes queen c6, just a8, right? We promote. Queen takes d4, and then if we promote now, the queen is gonna pick up the knight, and it's black has 3 pawns for and the piece for the rook, and that's a lot. Even though like it's still not great because the black king is weak. Rook a3 was played, yeah. But the yeah, I don't know. Very, very tricky, but hopefully Uneski figures this out. He's strong. I believe in him. He's got this.
You believe?
I believe.
That
Yeah.
it'll just like manifest itself in the position. You'll immediately see if the rook gets trapped or something. Okay, now
Queen
rook
b2 does
a5.
happen. Rook a5 is gonna happen.
The rook is fighting for its life to stay on the a file.
Yeah. It's running.
And then rook a1. There's this rook b5 idea.
Rook b5. Yeah, it's basically it's all happening before. So like there's no. Or maybe it's just this position. Yeah.
It likes
Rook
queen
a5 did happen.
d2.
No, but that's
Rook
just
back
that's just
to
repeating moves.
a3. But then it likes rook e5 there, and then probably king.
No, it's the same position. It's not gonna happen. Rook a1 is gonna happen because if we go queen d2, it means that we're repeating moves and we don't know what to do. So rook e1 will happen for sure, guaranteed.
Rook a1.
And then
guaranteed.
rook a1, yeah, the line we looked at, yeah. And then rook b5. I think Uneski is just gonna go for it because we can actually guarantee that the black rook is gonna get killed there, right? So what I mean by this is if we play rook e1 now. Oh, king g1. Whoa, wait, what?
Okay, so your guarantee failed.
Wait, what is king g1? I'm not okay. I'm not.
It defends
I'm not exactly...
f2.
Oh, defense f2. Okay, but I was just not sure why we need to. Okay. There's some... Okay. No. I see what he was afraid of. Okay. So yeah. So he was probably afraid that if we play rook e1 and move on previous move, right? If you go rook e1 previous move, then black would take on a1 and then take on f2, and then there's some shenanigans on the king's side. I think that's probably what Uneski was afraid of. Yeah.
Like you can't just push a7 there.
And there's some h4, bishop f3.
Whoa!
This makes it easy. This makes it easy, right?
Exchange.
C5.
Well, no, computer is saying. Oh, this pawn is pinned. Okay, what did you want? Rook.
Oh, surprisingly, queen a2 is the only move because any other move is not. Yeah, it's just an exchange, right? So now queen a2 is the move that wins on the spot. But will it be played? Actually, that's... Oh my god, we can have the double queen, 2 queens on white side. There's this line, this engine line, the 2 queens on white side. It's so cool. Like you can always just play a7 and play up an exchange, and he'll probably just win that position with an extra exchange. Queen a2 was played, no? Yeah, it was played. That's crazy. Okay. Okay, but this one is tough though. This one is tough to see. So,
oh man.
See this one, queen d7, queen d4, a7, rook c2, distracting the queen, right? Trying to distract the white queen, and then we have queen a1, pinning the black queen. Yeah. Okay. Well, queen d4, yeah, a7 now. Everything basically happens before. A7, rook c2, queen a1, pinning the, and then black is gonna go rook b2, blocking the pin. It's crazy.
And then
right,
and
then
and
then you get
mated.
Yeah,
yeah,
rook
wow.
f1. So rook f1, you have to play rook f1.
Rook f1, but then what?
Bishop e2, and then we queen, and then
and
black
then we
takes
queen.
a rook, and then we play with 2 queens as white.
So queen versus a rook, but 2 queens versus queen and
2
rook.
2 queens is, yeah, that's crazy. I've never seen a game where white had 2 queens versus a queen and another piece. I've seen 2 queens versus 2 queens, but never 2 queens versus some other piece. How is John doing? Let's see. How's John doing? John is Whoa, John. Whoa, relax. John is winning. Oh my god. He got him.
That exchange. All right, hold on.
Okay, but it's tricky. The bishop e2 needs to be found. I think he sees it, right? Because there was no way.
Here, yeah, the knight takes. The bishops are attacking the rook.
So bishop
takes.
e2 trick. Oh, bishop d7. I think bishop d7 is easier. Yeah, probably bishop d7 will come.
Is there... Oh, this, I guess... I don't know. You're attacking a pinned piece, so it seems pretty reasonable.
Just Bishop d7. Yeah, the simplest.
All right. So
Okay.
wait, does that mean that
Oh wait, he resigned? Well, what happened? Oh, he didn't find rook c2. Okay, he didn't find rook c2 and the game was over. Okay, so
yeah,
you
no
see,
rook
Akshat
c2.
made a move in the last second on
Well,
his clock.
it
And
seems that Black was gonna struggle either way.
oh yeah. I mean, Black was probably
So
lost. Okay, so now John's game is the final game of the match, and let's hope he finds Bishop d7 so he can guarantee the +2 score for Webster, and that's so exciting. Can't hide my excitement. Yes, Bishop d7. Let's go.
yes. All
Heck
right,
yeah.
so that's actually a really big results for Webster. That's gonna be 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1 against Wu, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's huge.
Mhm. Big win for Webster today. Well, knocking in Wu. There's second round to come. It's easy to in these tournaments. It's easy to start taking it. Oh wait, I'm running out of words. I'm too excited. I'm too excitement. It's very common to for success to get over your head, and you kind of start taking it easy like in your future games. So let's hope that Webster guys do not lose concentration and keep going strong at it, because yeah, on the distance it's very important to make sure you are in the same mindset for every match, and not like, oh, we're ahead by 2 points, we can take it easy. No, that's not gonna fly. If both of our opponents' teams make a draw again next round and then we win with the same score, we're gonna be ahead by 4 points. That that's gonna be tough to screw up, but obviously it hasn't happened yet, so. And let's see, are we
I feel like the clock's been. So here, I mean, if you play Bishop C7, just Rook takes for
B7.
2 pieces.
No, I don't think
Rook
that's.
B7.
We don't have to. Yeah, it could get tricky, right? Because in some end games are not winning, where you have 2 pieces versus 1. So I would much rather just not do that.
Yeah, just okay. That makes sense.
Just win a piece and be up a rook. Yeah, E6 happened, which is just
E6.
delaying inevitable.
Yeah, so if like Bishop takes, there's pawn push. All right, so knight takes. A little sneaky try for Robbie.
Yep, and it's probably GG.
Yeah, so this was a crazy game where maybe John missed a couple opportunities, but again, it came down to just a safer king, I think, for Black. Like White's king ended up getting in this pen, and obviously Robbie was down in exchange, had to sack it to try to alleviate some pressure that John had. So kind of a roller coaster game, but John ends up on top.
Once again, Sweat tiny better time management was, I think, the decisive factor in this game as well, right? Because White almost escaped, but not quite. Mostly because no time to calculate, the specifics of certain trades.
Yeah. So I mean, they haven't showed the results yet,
but I assume the result has already been coming.
Yeah, we can confidently say that John has won this game, which gives Webster a very impressive 3-1 win over Slew.
Yay.
And we have UTRGV and Mizzou tying at 2 points each. So that is the conclusion of the first round of the President's Cup. And again, the match score necessarily isn't as significant as much as the board points are. So 3 points. Webster is in the lead after 1 round, but we have 2 rounds remaining. So we're going to take a break, and in the stream here, we will be back in, I believe it's 2 hours, right?
About 2 hours or so, yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly after 4 p.m. Central Time.
All right, we will be back in about 2 hours. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with the second round, and the third round will be concluded tomorrow, Sunday morning, so same time as this stream started. Thank you, everyone. So please stick around for, I guess we're going to raid someone. And then we'll be back in 2 hours. So hopefully we'll see you then. All right. Take care.
Adios.